Hey everybody, welcome. It's October 27th. Halloween is just a few days away. This is the RambleCast.
Hello.
We have Corbin with us. It's a good day or something. I don't know. It'll be a better day when I get all the toys I've ordered. But, you know.
I mean, I'm having an okay day. I took my laptop out today, worked somewhere for like 2 hours.
Wait, you can go outside?
Yes. That's what the Pfizer's for. It better be doing its job.
Well, at least we know your weather probably isn't that good either because you're not getting any sun. That's a casual dig against the pale skin.
Yeah. No, I know. Yeah. So, yeah. A lot of stuff happening. A lot of things. Actually, I need to show for you for a second on Twitter.
Oh, good, and the stalker will find us. We'll not go into detail on what I mean by that, but you know what I mean.
Yes.
I guess if that's the case, I should probably also go like it.
And tweet. Okay.
And every once in a while, I even remember to go like it when. Oh. God. Okay. I just opened. I have to actually send you something funny because I doubt you've already seen it. But okay. Sorry, everyone. This is not something I can share on the show.
Off limits, folks.
After the message this morning, you see why that is really, really creepy. That does not make me feel good. Okay, anyway.
Oh, hi, Diablo.
Doubly funny because we were told that this would definitely not happen. Not kidding. Someone else told us this was definitely like an off-limit situation. Now, yeah, who knows? Anyway, yeah, sorry everyone. Hello Diablo. I don't know who else is in with us, but concurrent viewer count tells us you're not alone. That could be Corbin. I don't know.
I've got the chat open, but I had the video open for a second as I opened the chat, so I don't know.
This looks like a continuous. So okay. I'm gonna guess Carson or Austin is also in the room. Oh, Austin. Almost guaranteed. He is probably driving. I think almost every single time the show starts and there's a mysterious extra viewer, it's usually Austin. So, hey dude. Hope you're doing well. Don't text and drive.
Yeah.
Yep.
Good plan. Just listening.
It is.
You're allowed to do. Okay.
Oh. Pop the 3. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe he doesn't count as a viewer. I don't know. Anyway, welcome to whoever's here.
Yes. If you want, I don't know where you're going, but I thought it'd be cool to start off with something that like maybe it. I like talking about like dev stuff. And there was a dev thing that happened today, and I feel like the people watching maybe don't have an awareness of this, so I thought it'd be fun versus talking about the thing that a lot of people have talked about already.
Go for it.
We can not spend a ton of time on this, but there's some cool stuff here. So I will put this link in the Discord, and then I guess you can put it in YouTube because I still can't post links in your YouTube, sir.
I like how you keep making an issue out of that.
I want to post links.
I'm just lazy about actually adding anyone.
I think
it's not about you. I'm just lazy.
I think you're afraid that I'll just spam Tech Tales every minute I'm live.
I mean, I know you'll do that.
Yeah.
I don't see as that's actually been an issue. Look, I'm like I've been on what, half of the Tech Tales episodes or 2/3 of them. At this point, I don't feel like it's a big deal if you're basically just cross promoting me too.
Yeah. So today was the first day of, or the first of 2 days of GitHub Universe, which is GitHub's yearly developer event. And there's some cool stuff they announced. Oh, I just thought of something else I can talk about after this that is not strictly developer related, but like you'll care about too. Okay. GitHub for now though. Yeah. So the GitHub website is getting like some really cool improvements. They now have a public beta for the new issues system, which supports like really complex projects with like cards in the projects that you can specify custom fields for and that kind of stuff. So basically GitHub is like Jira / Asana now, which is pretty cool because it's free. And they said you can set the projects to either be public or private, which is pretty cool. And again, it's all free. So rest in peace, Jira. No one will miss you.
Oh, I can imagine so many people being like, we want to move, but we are trapped.
Yeah.
Jira is like the Oracle database of bug tracking.
Yeah. They've also got last year they started beta testing something called GitHub Discussions, which is kind of like a forum thread for your software project, and that's getting a little bit better. They added a thing where like you can trigger GitHub actions based on new discussions and comments. So if you want to do like continuous integration for people making comments, that you can do that, I guess. They're bringing it to the GitHub app, which is nice. They're adding polls, so a lot of stuff there that's happening. That's pretty cool. What else? Oh yeah, they're adding a command palette to the website. So now if you do like command, what was it? I think command K. Yeah, command K on Mac or control K on Windows. It brings up like a command line like you get in an IDE, and you can very, very quickly navigate to a certain project or an issue, or they say you can run some commands. I don't know what commands you can run, but basically like you just go anywhere without reaching for your mouse, which I always appreciate because the mouse slows things down.
I am so thoroughly imagining the conversation that led to that feature. And somebody being there like pushing all the reasons they should have this, and then just ending on the comment, and guys, don't forget, they had it in Doom.
Yeah. Can you load a new level in GitHub?
You got to have command, the keyboard commandos, like that. This is nature. Yeah.
Well, I think that this is just like an interesting thing that's going on, where Microsoft is making GitHub and they're also making Visual Studio Code. And now there's like, well, there was already like kind of Visual Studio Code. Like when you press the period key and you're looking at a GitHub repository, it opens like a minimal version of VS Code in your browser. So those things are all just kind of like merging together. You didn't know that?
Not at all.
Yeah, it's I've used that like 2 times. It's kind of helpful, but also doesn't do a lot. It's not as powerful as the whole web-based one they just launched.
Oh, well, yeah, obviously.
Yeah. Yeah, it's kind of neat if I need to like edit or readme or something. Yeah, so that's kind of the big stuff. I am interested to try the new projects stuff. Like I was also thinking like, for a little while I was experimenting with using Asana to track TechTales stuff, like just because like I'm usually working on a couple different scripts at once in various stages, and it'd be helpful to have like something for that isn't just a Dropbox folder of text files. So I might switch over to that. I'll have to play with it. But yeah, there's some cool stuff here that I'm interested in playing with. So yes.
Okay, just because it's in my nature to do this, we're hopping back here. Okay. Oh, whoops. Yeah, oh, I see where it went wrong. I'm sharing my screen and I wanted to quickly test that. Oops. Yeah, okay, I did. Wait, did I go to the wrong thing? Yeah, I did. Okay, that's why.
I'm gonna reopen Jitsi for a second because it's being weird.
Okay. Alright, that's why I was in the wrong place. So yeah, I wanted to try that because that just sounds too neat. So I've got a source file open, just a quick sample code that I shared on. I think this was shared in an AP post stages ago. Maybe it's just social. Anyway, just hit the period key and loads up. Yeah, that's kind of badass.
Yeah.
That is so good for actually browsing code. Okay, Daisy's found some interest.
Let me check what's happening over there.
Wow. Okay, so that's pretty cool. I dig this. I'm actually gonna very, very seriously. I'm going to use this though, because that is awesome. All because very specifically being able to quickly browse the file tree and getting to other files, seeing how they relate. I'm wondering, let's see, there probably aren't any resources in this, are there? No,
I think you might have seen a squirrel or something. I don't know. I couldn't find. I don't see anything. So.
I wonder if this does. Ooh, it does. Oh, that's sexy. You can go to references. Like it recognizes tokens. Let's see. Go to definition. No definition. Okay, it doesn't get everything perfect, but hey, that's fine. I mean, this is Android code I'm looking at, so I'm not expecting it to be that great.
Yeah,
but,
I think it's mostly made for just like quickly checking like pull requests and stuff. But
oh, right. But I was thinking like, how great would it be if you could go in here and like you're just trying to understand some huge chunk of code, and you're like, here's some variable. Where is this defined, or where is this object defined? I want to look this up, and instead of crawling manually through a ton of different pages of code, you can just straight up open it up and be good.
Yeah, and also like dragging over an API call and it autofills from like MDN or whatever Visual Studio Code gets info from.
Yeah.
That kind of stuff. Also, one of my favorite Visual Studio Code features that doesn't get talked about a lot is the fact that you can do live previews of Markdown files, which is kind of cool. I like doing that, so that's helpful for GitHub stuff. But yeah, so yeah, that's cool. I'm still. I saw after we talked about the new web-based Visual Studio Code for tablets and web browsers. I mentioned that I hope this would accelerate the development of the local storage API on mobile Chrome, because right now mobile Chrome does not support that. Like you can't give a website like access to just a folder. That's only on desktop Chromium. But I did see there is an issue on the Chromium repo, and there's people adding stars to that. So fingers crossed that'll happen soon. Also because PhotoStack uses that API, and it's a lot nicer when it can use that API. So that'd be cool. Like when you export a bunch of photos in PhotoStack on like normal browsers, you can either click a button to download all the images at once, which doesn't always work because web browsers I don't think were really designed to download like 40 files at once. Or you can download all of them in a zip, which works 100% of the time, but then it's a zip, you have to unzip it. But with that API, I added a thing where if that API is available, then it'll switch to just that, and you can like pick a folder and it'll just save all the pictures to wherever you want, which is really nice. But that doesn't work on mobile because that API isn't there yet. So I hope they do that.
Don't you love it?
I love software development. So yeah, that's GitHub stuff. I'm excited to try that out. I might switch TechTales organization to that because now the more I think about it, like just having like my outlines in like a GitHub repo that I can now edit in a web browser really easily is kind of cool. Versus right now where I have like Word documents in Dropbox, and then I have to use if I want to edit on a computer that maybe doesn't have LibreOffice installed, I have to like open the like online Microsoft Office, which is terrible and almost never works right. So
makes sense.
Yeah, so that's fun.
See, when you started this bit about GitHub, I honestly thought you were gonna say, and you know, we're on the Android Dev Summit.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, and then you mentioned GitHub, and it's like, oh, okay, yeah, sure, we can talk GitHub.
I did a little switcheroo there.
Yeah, threw me for the loop.
Yeah. But yeah, we can talk about. I still need to. Yeah, there's a lot of Android Dev stuff. Before we get to the Android Dev Summit stuff, I have one more side detour.
Sure.
Let me find. I don't know if. So did you know that Adobe Max was this week?
I did, in fact, know that. Yes.
Yeah.
So much so I was on a call that lasted for, what was it? An hour or hour and a half, in which they told me there would be Android announcements. No. They lied to me.
They lied, yeah.
They lied hard.
Yeah.
I'm a little burned on that one. But yeah.
I'm continuously burned on the fact that they keep announcing stuff for Photoshop on iPad and they won't port that damn app to Android. Like they did this for Lightroom, where Lightroom was on the iPad for like 3 years before they got around to making the Android version.
Okay, I actually have a theory on this. A little bit. It's a recent
theory is that Adobe is incompetent.
I'm not going to say that. Wink, wink. No, that's not fair. We like Adobe.
No, I don't.
Okay,
I'm not even gonna.
No point in pretending.
As a Linux user, I do not like Adobe. No.
Okay, look, I like some of the software. I'm not gonna the company, but I like some of the software. Let's go with that. Okay.
I would like Adobe if I could use the copy of Photoshop I pay for on the platforms of my choice.
Okay, Linux user. Where's your neck beard?
It's coming in nicely.
Anyway, so, wow. Okay, so things to take away from this. First off, as far as the iPad thing, or iPad versus Android, I will actually give a little bit of credit to, or not credit. I will marginally defend Adobe on this, though I'm going to do it in kind of the meanest possible way. Adobe software is not optimized for crap. And
No.
as a result, putting it on any Android tablet, it's going to run like garbage. So, rationally speaking, I can kind of see why they might have tried building it for some Android hardware and were like, you know what? This is just bad. We're not going to do this anymore.
I guess, but like also there's like Chromebooks with Core i7 chips.
Yeah, but
You know.
we'll come back to the Chromebooks in a second.
Yeah.
But yeah, just talking Android tablets, or even arguably Android phones. I think in practical terms, if the argument is that they should build Photoshop for these things, I mean, I'm not opposed to this argument, but if they're going to try to do something like what they did with the iPad, legitimately, yeah, that is actually going to brutalize any of the hardware that you're going to find for an Android tablet. I mean, the best things out there are Samsung, and Samsung's not exactly giving their tablets like the hardcore top of the line stuff. At least if I recall. Maybe I'm mistaken.
Well, their main top of the line tablet just uses whatever the latest Snapdragon 800 chip is. So, like their Tab S7 has, I think, the 888 Snapdragon in it. Just every year after the new chip's available, they make one with that and some amount of RAM. But yeah, I mean, like by that definition, no, it's not as good as an iPad.
Yeah.
Because Apple's smacking Qualcomm, but
a bit, yeah.
There are tablets that could do this, and they already got Lightroom to run on basically everything. So I feel like if something could happen there.
Well, yes, Lightroom, yeah. When it comes down to Photoshop, if you're gonna do anything more complicated than like basic drawing and maybe 2 to 3 layers, yeah, I could see how that starts getting maybe a little processor intensive.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe they could be like, if your device has X amount of RAM, then you can only use 3 layers or something. I don't know. They can do it. They're just being lazy.
Yeah. So anyway, getting back to the main point here. Oh, so my vague theory is that now that Google is pushing Tensor, if Google were to push Tensor into a tablet, in theory, maybe this is enough that Adobe's going to see it and say, we see what you're doing. We'll do this. I don't know. I'm not hype. I'm not trying to hype Tensor with this. I'm not saying anything there, but this is kind of that like taking it a step further. It is a step up from what you're going to get out of most of like the Snapdragon chips. It's basically Samsung's best hardware combined with some of Google's enhancements, and you have ostensibly or actually the best chip for Android right now. At which point maybe Adobe's gonna look at that and say, yeah, we can work with this. I don't know. But then sliding over to the Chromebook point you just made with Chromebooks having i7s, totally agree, and that is why Adobe just did a web version of Photoshop.
Yes.
That is actually good.
Have you tried this?
No.
Yet? Okay.
No.
I want to try it because, again, Linux.
Yeah.
Well, Linux has web browsers, but Adobe did this absolutely stupid thing where if you want to start it, the only way to start it is to open a Photoshop document in your Creative Cloud account. But it won't give you the option to do that if it's just like in your cloud storage. Like there's the Adobe Cloud storage, and then there's like here's your actual documents that you have, and you can only upload the document from like the full desktop web app. So in order to try this, I'm gonna have to boot back into Windows, let Photoshop update, and then upload a document, and then I can try it.
Yeah.
Also, I determined it doesn't like Firefox. It just refuses to open on Firefox. That's cool.
Yeah, I could be wrong, but I think they mentioned that during our pre-brief.
Yeah. I'm sure they'll get to it never.
Very certainly, yeah. So, yeah, I agree. They didn't do this in necessarily the best way. The reasoning, I think, is the way they explained it. I don't know. I didn't watch their keynote, so I don't know how they explained it during Max. But during their pre-briefing, they really talked about it in terms of you can put out, or like you can generate this document, and then if you want to let other people make changes or tweak it, something like that, like this is a collaborative tool. That's how they were pitching it. And I get that premise. I get the purpose of that. I don't necessarily agree.
It's the same model we've seen that like Microsoft has done with Office, where they bring Office to the web and it doesn't do everything the desktop app does, and it's arguably bad, but it's built for that collaborative feature. Like you can just, it's a Google Docs, you can send it to someone and they can work on it with you.
Yeah.
So I kind of get that. And I know also like this is like the earliest of betas. Like and you mentioned that like all of the announcements are like, I know that's why like access is limited. You have to go through like the ropes because they're just making it for that one specific use case now of sharing and doing basic edits online. Yeah, I'm hoping they'll get better. Because I would, again, like this is, I'm sure I could make like a kind of an okay wrapper around this for Linux and Electron or whatever, so feel like the desktop web app that Adobe won't give me.
Good luck with that. Yeah, I don't know. I will say this. I have to credit them for the fact that they are investing in this for real. It's not like the previous Lightroom and Photoshop for the web projects that they had. That previous Photoshop for the web project was literally what? I think it started with like 3 tools, and that was it. Like it was a generic painting app, basically. And then I know they had 1 or 2 revisions where they added some tools, but it wasn't a whole lot. And I don't remember if layers were part of the original or not. Anyway, yeah, they did very, very basic stuff, and it wasn't good. Now, I mean, they have a tool that, from what I saw in the presentation, I would say it looks good enough that you could realistically actually just work in that. Now, obviously, the startup procedure, having to open a document first, all that stuff, granted, not ideal. But in practical terms, you could actually, like, setting that stuff aside, the product that they have right there, minus its stupid limits, you could realistically just work in that. That's a huge step forward. That's something they could legitimately sell a subscription to. People would pay for it just to use that. That alone, I think, is pretty impressive. So I'm not saying Adobe has done great things here, but they did something that could eventually become a great thing.
Yeah, I'm gonna watch this and see what happens. Again, I'd really prefer if they just made Photoshop for Linux, or at least do what like I've seen some games do, where they just optimize for wine and they give it to you in a wine container. It's like, fine, I'll take it.
Yeah.
So this is something.
All that being said, I'm still really genuinely wondering how long it's going to take before they decide to do basically Stadia streaming. At least, maybe not for Photoshop. That doesn't seem necessary, but do it for Premiere.
I still really want this on my tablet. And like Lightroom's pretty good on Android tablets at this point. That's really the only place I've used Lightroom in like the past year, and it's really nice just to be able to plug my camera into my tablet, copy all the photos, do all the edits. Now they finally added the ability to bulk export with watermarks and like predefined file names. So now I don't even have to do the two process of exporting with Lightroom and then using my own app that I made to address the limitations in Lightroom. So like I can do the whole workload on my tablet now, but it's just I would like Photoshop also, please, because sometimes I need layers.
Yeah.
Although, now there's Krita, I think that's how it's pronounced on Android, which is a photo editor that supports layers. But that's more meant for like art. So like it can do the job, but it's not really designed for what I need Photoshop for, which is like quick cropping, blurring, using content aware fill. So I would really just like them to do Photoshop. And I'm sure I feel like whatever toolkit they're using for Lightroom is also probably what they're using for Photoshop. So please put in the last 10% of work, Adobe, and let me have Photoshop on my tablet, please.
Yeah. So, all that said, I don't know. I wanted to be more excited for Adobe Max. The thing is, what I saw that made me most excited, it was actually, let's see. You said you haven't watched all of it, or you haven't watched any of it.
No, I've just read the blog post.
Yeah. For anybody who does photo editing of any kind, take a look at the stuff that they announced for Adobe Lightroom, their new masking stuff. Let's see, Max masking. Let's see if I can just find a quick thing about this. Okay, Engadget posted something. We'll just give it to them. Oh, they posted barely anything useful. Never mind. Let's look elsewhere. I honestly thought that there would be something more in the way of like useful screenshots or something in there.
I also need to clean out my Lightroom library because Adobe has been sending me push notifications that my storage is almost full for like months.
That's unfortunate.
Yeah.
Oh, Petapixel. Okay, you usually don't let me down. Yeah. Okay. So their new masking features actually support like object recognition. They've got full-on AI going, so if like you can pick an object and it just outlines it for you. This isn't like color matching. This isn't doing just basic stuff. It's actually, I guess, picking out objects. It can pick out they showed us in the sample, which, let's see, they don't show it in any of these screenshots, but they showed a sample to us during the presentation. There was 3 people in a group shot. One of them was behind the other 2, so like their bodies were overlapping. And when they were picking each person, it recognized where the overlaps were and cut it correctly. And it's like, you gotta be kidding. This is actually, and some of them you could barely even visibly tell where the lines should have been. And it's like, how is it getting this right? This is amazing. So credit to them. They're figuring out some stuff. And a small part of me wonders, I don't think so, but a small part of me can't help but wonder, is Mark Lavoie like just wandering around fixing stuff at Adobe? Like, oh hey, you guys, you could totally just here's 500 lines of code. I fixed it for you. I don't think so, because I know he's working the camera stuff, but still, small part of me wonders.
Or just someone told Adobe about TensorFlow.
Yeah.
Like, oh wait, this is cool.
or maybe Adobe, when they hired Mark, maybe they secretly also hired 10 other Googlers and were like, can you guys just go from room to room and help?
Yeah.
And just knock on the door and ask, hey, you want some code? We can give you some.
Yeah. It's like a code workshop, except they should all know how to do that already.
Yeah. But anyway, seriously, for the possibilities with this are amazing. I mean, if for no other reason than just how fast this can make photo editing, if you need to do like down to the object level color corrections and things like that, because shaving off the masking stuff, like so people don't have to manually click around and outline whole objects, that's so huge. That is like, wedding photographers are going to look at this and just drool. They no longer are they going to have to manually like cut out the bride and make sure that her dress looks extra white. They're not going to have to fix people's smiles and teeth anymore. Like, skin tones will look nice almost automatically. Like, yeah, like this is a big deal. So yeah, cheers to Adobe. They did something pretty cool with this.
Yeah, I just want it on Photoshop on Android, please. Yeah, so I guess we can talk about the Android Dev Summit stuff now. I'll probably stay on for like 30 more minutes.
All right.
Well. I know I say that every time, and then I'm here for 4 hours, but this time I like actually have work I still need to do, so I want to do that before 10 p.m.
I like how you credit yourself with 4 hours.
Yeah, no, that's Cody time.
Yeah, which for what it's worth, I don't see myself doing super long tonight because I've been sitting in this chair too much, and seriously, like I could almost not walk. Part of last night, my back was just hurting. So yeah, we'll see. I'm doing what I can to lean forward and whatever. Anyway, so
yeah, Android Dev Summit is happening, and we got a new Android version. You know, we just got to 12, but just kidding. There's another new one now.
Yeah, Hello 12L.
Google, come on, please. Just do numbers like everyone else.
Yeah.
Or go back to the fun names. 12L isn't fun.
I'm choosing to believe, and yes, I'm totally making fun of this. I'm choosing to believe it's L because an L looks like a half unfolded phone.
Yeah, maybe.
I hope that's not actually true, because if that's the reason, but I mean it makes sense in its own weird way.
Yeah. So this is Android 12, but basically just with large screen improvements. And so basically this is the first version of Android that has actually somewhat slightly cared about large screens since Honeycomb. It's been downhill since Honeycomb.
It actually has been.
Yeah. Like I remember getting my Asus Transformer pad in 2013, 2012, whenever that was. Or maybe 14, I don't remember. I remember getting that, and that came with, I believe it was Honeycomb. That's what it shipped with. And I remember Asus updating it to Ice Cream Sandwich, and I was like, oh, cool, it's better now. And then it got to like 4.1, and then I think Adobe stopped, and then I switched to CyanogenMod. And I remember every time I downloaded the new CyanogenMod major update, it just got slightly worse. Like, oh, cool, I lost my taskbar. And then, oh, there goes the tablet-specific settings out. Now it's just like one column, and oh, there goes everything else. And then the tablet just died because Asus forgot how to make storage chips during that time, and it just progressively slowed to the point where nothing could fix it. I still have that tablet, but it's just a Doris out now.
Yeah, I still have a few tablets around here, and most of them I don't think even charge anymore. And the few that do, I'm not sure they turn on properly, except the Nexus 9, which It takes a while, but I can get it running again.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Yeah. So yeah, Android L, it's got it. You can definitely tell like the focus for this was foldables, and then like just whatever they could bring to everything else they did. So a lot of the interface, like they showed off the new notification shade, where the quick setting stuff is like taking up the left half of the screen, and your actual notifications are on the right. Which I find this hilarious after they just redesigned the Chrome OS quick setting stack, and they put the quick settings above your notifications, so your notifications get like 5 pixels of space below all the other stuff on your like horizontal computer display. That's a joy.
yeah.
So I'm glad they discovered the error of their ways. Maybe everyone complained about it enough. So they're doing that. They've also got a new like taskbar thing for large displays that kind of looks like Chrome OS, where you've got like your running apps on the bottom and you can just drag them to areas of the screen. So lot of definitely some nice usable improvements here. They showed off stuff like the settings app where it also does the 2-column. I'm interested in seeing where this goes. I'm glad there's better system levels. As someone who has continued to use Android tablets despite everyone telling me how bad they are and how much better an iPad is, I'm well aware. I like my terrible Android tablets, thank you. This looks good. I'm still very cautiously optimistic because the issue that happened with Honeycomb is that they spent a lot of effort on making the system work well on tablets, and they even updated a lot of their apps to work well on tablets. But that was really the last time they did that. And since then they've come out with Android app support on Chromebooks. They're still partnering with companies to make Android tablets. Google's obviously hasn't made one in forever itself. But for the past probably like 5 to 8 years, they haven't really cared about their apps on tablets and large screens. I can count on one of my hands the amount of Google made applications that have a half decent tablet layout. It's like Gmail, YouTube kind of, not really, but kind of, at least in the player. I'm coming up empty already.
Yeah, I was gonna say I think you're overestimating.
I can think of a lot of I know I can definitely think of a lot of apps that look awful.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, Google Calendar is kind of okay on large screens. Chrome is like, it looks like Chrome on the computer.
Yeah, that's cheating.
Yeah.
I have heard Duo actually looks pretty good on a tablet. Though
I don't think do I have Duo?
Though the contact list I'm not sure would. But I mean, obviously the rest of it, it's kind of like YouTube in the sense that it benefits from how simple and you want the whole interface expanded out to the corners. So
okay, hold on. What I'm going to do is I'm going to show you what Duo looks like on my tablet, but I'm getting a sticky note to cover my contacts because I don't want to dox people accidentally.
That's fair.
And this is hilarious. Okay, you want to see what Duo looks like on my tablet?
Okay, here,
all right.
Let me change focus so it's on here.
Okay. So just keep in mind the people behind my sticky note are just they're just names. Like there's nothing else behind them. Okay, here we go.
Oh. Okay, yeah, that's not great.
Holy white space, Batman.
Okay, so yeah, that's a no-go.
That's a flat out lie. Yeah, so like
Carson brought up the Play Store. So yes, the
Okay,
Play Store actually is pretty good.
kind of.
Oh,
They,
did it get
you know what's
bad?
weird? No, it just only recently got kind of good. Like this is what the Play Store looks like now. It's just the phone Play Store, but like they actually have the sidebar on the side all the time, like they should. And if tap on an app, it won't take up like the entire. Like it's still stretched out phone layout.
Yeah.
But now
okay.
they have that sidebar open all the time, and they only did this like last year, I think. So again, like my anyway, so my main point here is just that Google has done the absolute bare minimum or no effort on most of their apps on tablets. Really, the only one I can think of that like I would give them credit for is like Gmail, because that has pretty good large screen layout and it supports keyboard shortcuts.
Yep.
So that's actually been nice to use on my tablet. Everything else is horrific. So I'm cautiously optimistic here because they need to lead by example. They need to make all of their apps look and work well on large screens if they want other developers to care.
Yeah.
Because like I remember when every time Chromebooks got a major update for the Android support, or like when it rolled out to more Chromebooks, like I can't tell you how many like editorials or tweets or whatever I saw where people are like, this is it. This is going to make app developers care about optimizing for large screens and keyboards and mouse. Because like the logic kind of makes sense where if you have millions of Chromebooks that now can download Android apps, surely the developers would see all these people and go, oh yeah, we can, put in a little extra work to make it work well in there. No, they never did. I've used Slack for Android on a Chromebook because the web version never really supported background push notifications. It's terrible. Like they have a very sad section in the Play Store when you look at it on like a tablet or a Chromebook where it's like, here's our top picks for apps that work well on a large display. They're awful. Most of them are awful.
Yeah. Okay, so I have a bit of a weird theory on this. Sorry to cut you off, but I want to get this theory in there.
No, I'm done. I made my point.
So I agree. I think Google is not going to start suddenly caring about tablets. I'm not convinced that they're going to start caring about Chromebook situations. I could be wrong on that, but I feel like it's still not a high priority to really make apps look nice on Chromebooks. Because if it was a priority, this would have happened however many years ago. Like this, at this stage, if it's going to happen, it should have happened. It hasn't happened. But I think what Google is probably doing or going to do, I think their idea is probably now, hey, foldables clearly are a thing that are going to stay. And this is a thing that is going to become a larger part of the market. Therefore, hey, developers, this time, for real, we swearsies, please make apps for larger screens. Foldables count as larger screens. If you make an app for a foldable, take the extra 20 minutes and think of a way to make it not terrible on other screens. Try to target tablets. Try to target Chromebooks.
Yeah.
I know you're probably not going to, but now that you're doing the extra work for foldables, try.
Right, and they made a big point about like if you put in the effort for foldables, then basically all that work carries over to tablets and laptops. Like if
which is kind of a lie, but
yeah, like it maybe looks weird. Like I know Samsung, for example, just updated I updated the software on my Tab S6 a little while ago, and they updated the settings app so that it's back to like your categories are on one side of the screen and then like whatever you have open is on the right side. Like the settings app was on Honeycomb on tablets, but that's not in stock Android anymore, so they had to add that. And like they did it where it's almost like half width for both columns, and it just kind of looks weird. Like I don't think I need that much space for the side without any of the buttons on it. So I imagine maybe we'll get like some kind of weird looking apps on tablets from this, but it's still better than one column. So yeah, I don't. Again, like Google, they have to lead by example here, and they have not done that. I don't know if they're going to start now. They're making a big deal out of it now, but the thing about foldables is, at least for now, they're still pretty close to a phone layout. Like a Galaxy Z Fold, when you have it in half, it's like roughly a phone. Like each app gets like roughly the phone size of a normal phone, like a normal vertical device. Yeah, and even if you have one fully open, even if it's still an app designed for smartphones with like one column, it doesn't look broken. Like it maybe looks a little bit weird, but it's still not stretched out horizontally to the point where you can really tell no one tried it on here. Like kind of in the same way where a lot of the Android tablets that we've seen in the past 10 years are like the 7-inch ones, because when you use like a 7-inch Android tablet, it just uses like the phone layout for apps, and it doesn't look that weird. Like, you know, whenever you'd use like a Nexus 7 or an Android or an Amazon Fire tablet, like most of the apps look fine because it's just like a slightly larger phone with the same aspect ratio.
Yeah, it might have a little bit of extra white space here and there, but in that case, the white space just feels like a nice, comfortable amount of white space. When you throw it on a 10-inch tablet, that white space becomes, oh hey, now it just feels awkward.
Then you get the Google Home app for on a tab. I'm going to show that again. This is still the most horrific thing I've seen Google release for on tablets. Oof. Oh Lord. Okay. Ooh, there we go.
Oh,
look at that.
God.
That looks fantastic.
Honestly, I detest the Google Home app. I have hated that app for so long.
It's terrible on every. Oh wait, why can I connect Tile to Google Home? Why does it want to do that? I can have it linked.
My theory over that app is it angles everywhere from doing teardowns on it to just trying to use it. Like, as a user, I hate that app. As doing teardowns on it, it is so convoluted and has the weirdest path to trying to get to anything. And every time I'd even try to go in and test features, seriously, sometimes I would have to, like, there are parts of the Home app that you can only get to not through the Home app. You actually have to go into like Android settings or go to the Google app and tap through screens there to get to something that's hidden in the Home app. I hate that.
It's the Home app is like the classic example that I think the best comparison point is iTunes, where it's a shitty application, mostly because they're trying to do like 30 things with it.
It's the catch-all.
Yeah. Like at Google Home is now, it's used for smart home device management. It's used for setting up and configuring smart speakers with Assistant. It's used for connecting like other services to Google Assistant / smart speakers. It's your Wi-Fi configuration tool if you've got a Nest Wi-Fi. It's a smart security application if you have like the Nest stuff, because they're still trying to merge the Nest security camera stuff into that app. It's way too much. There's way too much happening there, and it doesn't do anything well.
I will say this. I don't think it has to be too much. All of the things that they're trying to do with it, I can see all of those things being in the same app. That can be okay. It's that it is disorganized, messy. The way that like you pair different devices doesn't even match up. Some things have to be done one way, some things have to be done another. The way to access things is messy. The interfaces are not even all consistent. Like when you start piling on all these separate issues, all of these could be solved with design. And that's the part that is a problem. You could fix this with design, but they're not.
Yeah, and They also tried to do that thing for a while where it was like kind of a Google feed. Like
Oh
they tried to
yes.
like back, like mostly a holdover from when it was the Chromecast app, and they'd have like things you can watch that like kind of sort of made sense back when it was just the Chromecast app, and then it
Yeah.
just why is it here? Um, y- yeah, that app probably needs a different product manager
Well,
if it
okay.
has one.
Oh, I'm sure it does. Just for same reasons, I'm sure it must. But I can't help but wonder, is there product manager or sorry, is it a product manager or is it product managers? A part of me wonders
Mhm.
how much the home app might be one of those things where somebody technically is at the top, but that person's job is more to play goalie, or to kind of play like league commissioner, but underneath them are a dozen other product managers, each one with their own thing happening. And each one, like, there's someone in there who's like, yeah, my job is to make sure the Nest integration happens. And there's someone else who's like, yeah, but I'm the Chromecast person. You can't block us out. And each of these, I'm wondering if there's just so many product managers that are butting heads. Each one wants the home app to be their playground.
Oh, I'm sure this is an example of something where like the development cycle is so rapid they don't really like think about the design too much.
Right.
Like again with the stuff like like just in recent history, like I think it was last year they announced the Nest Wi-Fi. I think that's around the time they started merging the Wi-Fi stuff in, and then like the whole migration from the Nest security application to this app as well is pretty recent, and it's still ongoing. They haven't ported over. It's not 100% yet. And then just all that, and then on top of like the rapid development cycle on Google Assistant. So it doesn't surprise me at all the state that it's in, but it's not good.
Yeah. All that being said, I do want to at least give Google credit on something, and I know this is one of those things where we can hate on Google for this, but I think we do have to also give a little bit of allowance here. Man, Google has taken it on the chin so much for having too many apps, having an app for this, having an app for that, and like, let's be honest, we don't need a Nest app. The Nest app, I mean, I get why it's there. There are reasons for it to be there, but it probably should go away. Like, at a certain point, the Nest app actually did need to go away, and it can be in the Google Home app. That being said, they need to do it well, and that's the problem they've had, is they're not doing it very well. Nest really needed to have a one single migration step, not this multi-year. We're gonna shut down this feature and then this feature, and now we're gonna make it so you can import your stuff over to Google Home, but not everything. And if you import it now, some stuff, you're gonna lose some stuff. And oh yeah, it might actually be some really important stuff. So for those people, we're not going to tell you this, but you probably should have stayed on Nest because there's no path back and so on and so forth. Like, yeah, don't do that. It's okay. Kill the old apps. Cheers. But do it when you can do it competently, and like, users aren't going to massively suffer. It's not okay the way they're doing stuff. So
Yeah. So that was the whole thing. I know also at the Android Dev Summit they talked a little bit about how their Jetpack stuff is more optimized for Material U and Wear OS. So Wear OS getting a little bit of love there. Still, at least as far as I've seen, there's still no better ETA for the release of Wear OS on other stuff than like a year from now.
I don't think we're gonna get one.
No.
At least not at this event. This event was not going to do that. And not unless it was just like the casual, whoops, we kind of just we gave it away by accident. Didn't really, that wasn't the purpose, but it happened.
Oops, pushed it to the Android source code.
Yeah. But yeah, I will give them this. I'm really impressed that they're doing a good Jetpack Compose library for Android Wear. That's actually awesome. I don't think that's really going to substantially increase the number of Wear apps, but you never know. Maybe. I mean, if it's a little easier to build them and they can copy more code, that could be good. I want to be optimistic on that. The addition of Material U to Jetpack Compose is also obviously good. I mean, I'm not... you guys know, I'm not exactly a Material U fan. I don't hate it. I feel like this was a very lateral step in design.
Yeah, I haven't had the chance to really try it yet, because my Pixel is on like some custom ROM that I was trying for an article, so I need to get it back onto stock and then get it to Android 12, and I haven't had time to do that yet. So I haven't really formed any opinions about that.
Very notably, I have my Pixel 4 XL on Android 12, now stable. And I'm leaving my Pixel 3 where I have my actual SIM card. That's staying on Android 11 for a little while.
Yeah, I heard there was like performance, battery, something issues with the older Pixels on 12.
Okay, I actually not heard... Oh, wait, maybe I did hear about that. I don't remember for sure, but yeah, that's part of it. Another much bigger part of it is stuff like DJI apps. I don't know why, but these famously, they never work on new versions. So yeah, if I were to install Android 12 to all of my Pixels right now, the only one I would be able to use to fly a drone would be my Pixel 2 XL. Which, hey, that's actually a good device for it, but I'd rather not rely on a single phone for that purpose. And in general, like, there are developers out there and apps out there that just, they don't work if you're on an old, or sorry, on the brand new version of Android. You kind of have to end up holding back a little bit. So, plus, I just haven't really felt the compulsion to switch to Material U if I don't have to. This is one spot where I think B-Slidem and I generally agree on design. So yeah, I will eventually push to Android 12. There's no doubt to it. Just I'm gonna wait, and I have a feeling I'll end up waiting until like 12.1 or 12L or whatever they end up calling it. I'll probably end up waiting until that is sort of final, and then I'll update my phone to it.
Maybe. Diablo said he asked if the old Nest app had more of like an iOS design. I don't know. I've never owned a Nest camera, so I never used their standalone app.
It's been a really long time since I used it, but the last time I did, yeah, it looked very iOS-like. Though at that time, to be fair, a lot of apps from Google looked very iOS-y. That was kind of their transition point where everything had left the original version of Material. It all turned white and kind of tasteless and colorless. And a few apps kind of adopted an iOS-like style. A few apps went just styleless. And yeah, Nest was one of those that just... It was already iOS-like, and they just stuck with that. So, that's the last I remember of it. Again, I don't think I've used it in 2 years. Or something close to that.
Yeah. Also, David Lama joined us. Hello. Hey,
David.
Welcome to the fun zone. Again, right as I'm getting ready to leave. Your timing is impeccable. It's fine. That's why we have a rewind button.
Yeah, exactly. So let's see. Really quick, kind of jumping back. Beast-Item asked earlier, and I mean, I have my own opinion on this, but that's mostly from not looking. But he asked, are Chromebooks really that popular?
Yes. Okay. Actually, let me rephrase that. They
Let me
a lot
rephrase
of
that.
the
Yes.
yeah. Well, popular. Well, okay. I'm sorry. Sometimes in my brain, I think of popular as like an adjective for like good. And I was about to rephrase that
high
because like
school's fighting back.
because like Chromebooks, they a lot of them are sold. Like you, there are statistics. Wow, statistics about. I'm sorry, I'm breaking down. There are a lot of statistics from like marketing firms, and and a lot of the manufacturers that make Chromebooks do report sales numbers sometimes of Chromebooks, and they're usually more popular than Macs by a pretty significant margin in most markets, specifically the US, because that's where Google has the most things available. And also just because, I know it varies because Chrome OS is still web reliant, so it still works best with like somewhere that has like good internet connections. But yeah, they're Chromebooks have a pretty significant market share at this point, especially in the US. So there is absolutely the user base for Android apps on Chromebooks would be in the millions. Potential market at least. Like I don't know how many installs of like Twitter that are on Chromebooks, but no, I mean it's a huge market. Which is why I think we've seen I think that's really helped push the point along that a lot that we're seeing more and more software go to the web, just because like once you have it there, then it's not much effort to support everything.
Okay, so on that particular note, I'm gonna say I think the software that has headed to the web was generally always going to be headed to the web. There may be a few exceptions.
That is definitely a thing that started before Chromebooks, and that's why Chromebooks could exist in the first place.
Yeah, and I think it was Beast-Item, but I saw somebody said basically like take schools out of the equation. How how popular Chromebooks if you're not counting schools. And while I don't follow the statistics on this per se. I do have a different point of reference, and I know that this is going to sound like a kind of a bad point of reference, but I will say this. Like Android Police, and you can look at other sites, there are plenty of sites that are doing this, they post deal alerts for Chromebooks pretty frequently. And they wouldn't do that if they're not getting affiliate sales. I'll just say that outright. Like that's a simple truth of the matter. I'm not saying that amounts to a massive percentage of buys. And obviously, I think there's something to be said for people probably are more likely to buy a Chromebook through a deal alert on, some site than they would a Windows laptop or a MacBook. Well, MacBook might be a different story. If someone posts a deal for a MacBook, everyone's gonna be like, "Oh no, now, this is the moment. We gotta get it." But I will.
Yeah, they're definitely still popular through like normal retail channels. Like when you are not, people will still use them when they are not forced to by the school they're at, or like also Chromebooks are frequently used in corporate environments because they're so easy to manage.
And I will say there is probably something to be said for it, because you said forced by your school or institution.
Right.
I will throw in kind of the forced but not technically forced that still makes sense with the retail channel. I think a lot of parents still get Chromebooks for their kids, because not necessarily is that the ideal or the choice? It's just, oh, we got to get a computer for little Johnny. This is cheap. Let's get that. I do think that happens, and I would say objectively that's forced, but it's
they're still cheap. Chromebooks, even with everything they've added recently, like, at any given point you could have like 2 virtualized operating systems on top of Chrome OS. Like, they still usually, like, in the lower tier, they still usually run better than what you would get for the same price running Windows.
Yeah.
Usually, and it varies. Like, if you're doing a lot of like Linux and Android stuff, probably not, because you're gonna run out of RAM at that point. But like, I mean, there's still good values on the low end. The argument for like more expensive Chromebooks is maybe more difficult to make.
I think it's a terrible.
Terrible. And also the other factor, and this is what Apple learned like 20 years ago, is if you can get them hooked on your stuff in school environments, then when they grow up and they buy their own computers, they will buy that too. So there is a lot of people growing up who use Chromebooks in school and then continue to use them afterwards. And some of those people are the ones buying the high-end computers because they still want Chrome OS, but like they have, they can use something that's not a Celeron.
Yeah. All that being said, there's also a whole bunch of kids who are like, I just use an iPad. Screw your keyboard noise. I can swipe to type. Well, okay, it's an iPad, so you're not swiping very, very accurately. But hey, whatever.
Yeah, like, as much as I don't like Chromebooks for like 500 reasons, like I get why they are definitely popular, even in times where it's not kids forced to use it because it's what their schools give them.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'll
there's a request to talk about the bike. Yep.
Yeah, request to talk about the bike. So I will talk about the bike briefly, and then I want to quickly hit on breaking news, and then I'm gonna leave to go do work and probably find something to eat.
I might coax you into one other quick topic after that, but go on.
I have a headache. I don't want to stand at this computer for longer than I have to.
Fine. Talk about the bike.
I'm sorry.
Or the breaking news. Take your pick, whichever one you want to do first.
I'll do the bike. So that's the bike. I built it. It took me a couple, like 2 to 3 hours. It was kind of a little bit of a pain to assemble with only one person, mostly when I was trying to get the wheel on, and I kind of had to hold the bike to get the wheel on. It came with the back wheel attached, but not the front wheel. So I did. That was a little bit of a pain, but yeah, I got it set up, and I've ridden it for maybe like an hour and a half total so far, because I finished putting it together like around this time yesterday. And it's pretty nice. It's the Rad Mission 1. I got like the mid-step one, so it's not like super high. And it's an e-bike that I believe the motor can go to like 20 miles per hour without pedaling to make it go faster, or like not, down, like if I'm going downhill, I could go unsafe speeds, but so it's pretty nice so far. I got an e-bike because I want to ride my bike places instead of just like always 100% taking my car. But there's a lot of hills around. We have a lot of hills down here. This is not Florida, and those are a pain on a normal bike. So I need some help from a motor on those hills. So yeah, that's nice. One thing I didn't think about that is cool so far is, when you get on a normal bike, maybe it's just me, but when you get on a normal bike and you you have to start off really slowly and like probably like swiveling a lot as you build up speed. I don't have to do this on here. I just get on it and then I hit the little accelerator, zoom, I'm off. There's no there's no slow build up of speed.
Austin, how well does it jump?
No.
Yeah, these
I did.
these do
I
not
did get
jump.
I did get a little bit of airtime when I was driving around the parking lot in my apartment, and we have like a massive speed bump going downhill. So I did get a little bit of accidental airtime there. That was not intended. I'm going to try not to do that again. But yeah, so it's nice. I have to figure out an ideal way to store it because it's kind of big. I saw a thing on Amazon that I might get that's like lets me store it like on its side facing up, so it doesn't take up as much of floor space. I don't know. I'll figure out something for that. I can't really keep it outside because I'm on ground level, and someone could just yoink it out off my back area.
Diablo. We're gonna see Corbin in X Games.
No, I will drive. I'm gonna drive my bicycle just like I drive my car, like an absolute grandma. Because I trust no one here. I will not be surprised if the first time I take this on a road, I get horrifically mangled because someone with an F-150 was looking at their phone while driving.
Sounds about right.
Yeah, so I'm gonna hopefully ride it more tonight. I don't know. I have work I gotta do also, and also I have a fun headache that won't go away.
It's from watching too much developer stuff.
Yeah, maybe I'm using my brain for once. It's hard. Instead of just rewriting press releases, I have to like watch these and go, is it new? Is it? Google says it's new. That I can't trust Google in these circumstances. Yeah, so yeah, I'll report back on the bike when I do something with it that isn't just driving circles in the parking lot. But breaking news, I will put this in the RambleCast chat. This is Apple related, kind of. Okay. So the WebKit blog posted posted the release notes for the latest Safari technical preview, which is basically Safari's like Chrome beta channel. And this is where you get to try stuff before the WebKit update rolls out to Safari, like normal Safari on macOS, and also Safari and the embedded in rendering engine in iOS. So the tech preview tells us what's coming to all Mac and iPhone and iPad people. So these are good posts to read if you care about web stuff at all. And there is a couple cool things in here that I saw briefly, and I'm like, oh, can't wait for that. So in the where was it? Oh yeah, in the WebAssembly section, because WebKit supports WebAssembly, thankfully. WebAssembly can now use up to 4 gigs of RAM, which is helpful because that's really been an issue on like iPads, where the software cannot adequately use the hardware available. So now we can get cooler stuff in WebAssembly, especially on like mobile devices. That's cool. And that's what a lot of these new modern web apps are using, at least partially. So that's exciting. In the web API section, they've finally enabled a bunch of APIs by default. So before, these were like flags you had to turn on that were in, I think you can I think the flags are accessible on Safari on iPhones. But they finally enabled the file system access API by default, which is what Visual Studio Code uses on the web for opening local files. It's what the new Photoshop web app uses for opening local files.
I wonder if that's why they did it.
Possibly. I mean, I'm here for it. You know, it wouldn't surprise me if Adobe has nudged Apple in this direction. But yeah, so that's really great. So now the iPad will be a better development station than my Android tablet. They also flipped on just the storage API. I forget what that is. Which storage? There's like 50 different things kind of called a storage API.
Diablo. Now people can say my browser on phone eats my RAM.
Mm-hmm. Oh, okay, so this is just the like just storage for web applications. So like upgraded version of local storage. Okay, so that's not too exciting, but that's still good. Yeah, so it was mostly that. I'm looking through. I don't added support for web RTC media capabilities. That might be helpful for video conferencing stuff. But yeah, mostly just the storage API. So that's fun. So now all those shiny new web apps that interact with local files will be good on iPads and Macs.
Indeed.
And again, maybe this will give Google slightly more of a kick in the pants to get that onto mobile Chromium, so I can use that.
Huh. Okay. I don't know why, but it slightly amuses me that the note on this release is that tab groups do not sync.
Didn't have time to fix that.
I guess not.
Nope.
All right. Well, good for Safari. I gotta admit,
basically this is just important because Apple doesn't let you pick rendering engines on iOS and iPad.
Yeah, that's true. I was just about to say it's so hard for me to care about Safari. I never use it. But yeah, you're exactly right. Every iPad user or every iOS user out there is stuck on Safari. So yeah, that's fair. It's ironically, for as much Apple stuff as I have around me, which okay isn't really that much, but I have a few MacBooks. I have at least one iPhone here that almost never gets used, but still, yeah. At this point, it is a little weird that I use Safari basically not at all.
Yeah, I just, I have my iPhone SE that I use to test stuff in Safari. Although I do have my Mac Mini now, so I could do that in situations where I can use the desktop version. But yeah, but yeah, I'm hyped about the file system stuff. That's cool. Hopefully, this rolls out to stable iOS soon. Fingers crossed.
Yeah, that would be good.
Yeah. So yeah, that's all from me. I'm probably gonna lay down for a couple minutes because my hair hurts more now. It's not getting better. I don't know what it is. Is there there can't be pollen in October, can there? I feel like that.
I don't see why not.
It probably is.
I mean, I'm not going to say it's a common thing necessarily, but for where you are, that kind of makes some sense.
No, okay. Weatherbug says pollen level is very low, so that can't be it. It must be something else. I'm just dying. That's what's happening.
Well, don't die too quickly. We're not done using you. Why is this? Sorry, I shouldn't be doing this, but I was just reminded that I want to try something on the iPhone to see if I can fix another issue, and it looks like I can't. Damn it.
Well, you have fun with that. I'm gonna go die.
Okay. Well, either die quickly or don't die. I don't know. One of the two.
Okay.
If you die slowly, you're doing it wrong.
Okay. Things that sound scary out of context. Okay.
Good point.
Cody's gonna murder me now. Okay, bye.
Later, man. Okay. No. So, just to needlessly and quickly explain, I have the DJI Action 2. I can finally point this out. Tiny little action camera. I still have the plastic on the lens. Ignore that. I haven't had a chance to actually take this out yet, so I figured there's no good reason to take the plastic off of the displays and lenses yet. But yeah, this is the action camera. place it so there's a little bit of contrast. But yeah, this thing is tiny and it's kind of badass. Oh, and I totally forgot to bring a ferrous metal with me to demonstrate this. But yeah, anyway, this thing's very magnetic. You can stick it just straight to like a refrigerator. You can stick it to a car. You can stick it to like tons of stuff. So yeah, kind of dig it. It's also modular. So here's a screen that points the other direction. So kind of for vlogging purposes, you can hook them together and have a screen pointed out. By the way, the camera has a screen on the other side too. So, you know, you can use it normally. And yeah, they just lock together. And like, seriously, they are not coming apart easy because they have physical clips plus a magnet holding them together. But yeah, anyway, pretty cool gadget. I'm going to be reviewing this. We did a post on AP earlier. The one nagging problem I have, and it's a classic problem. I don't know why this hasn't been fixed yet, but getting an Android phone, getting the DJI Mimo app on Android to connect to some of DJI's stuff, weirdly difficult. And this is for whatever reason one of those things. So I'm trying to get it working. I've heard it works better on some phones than others. I think Samsung is one of those where it works typically well. It does not seem to like any of my Pixels, so I may be doing a lot of this testing with an iPhone because it seems to work perfectly on the iPhone SE. Not that I need to use a phone much, just acknowledging for the few times I will be using a phone, that's probably going to come up. And yes, review is definitely going to note the problem with that. I didn't bring any of the accessories with me, but this does come with, it comes with a necklace that I'm not wearing it, but you can basically just like wear the camera right here on your chest. Just, you know, throw a necklace, leave it hanging under the shirt, latch this on, and it'll just stay there. They have all the typical like action camera accessories, so you can do pretty much anything with it. And again, like, it magnetizes to tons of stuff, which is just neat. So I'm looking forward to playing with this, but I haven't actually had any real time yet. Plus it has been, except for oddly right now, the weather has been kind of terrible for the last week. So getting outside has not been fun. Diablo dog POV. Aside from that triggering the weirdest thoughts in my head, yeah, 100%. This would be a neat thing to just throw on your dog's collar and let it run around and see what it picks up. I'm trying to think of clever video shots to do with this, and hopefully some of those will turn out. We'll see. I've got ideas. I'm not sure they're all good ideas, but I have ideas. Let's see what else. I can't talk about any of them yet, but I have other review units also coming that I'll be able to talk about, and one of them I'll be able to talk about in a week. So, and there will be a lot more to talk about with that one. The action camera is, I think the action camera is neat, but I don't know that there's a whole lot I really want to say about it right now. Like, the coolest things to talk about right now, I'll just say, go on YouTube and look up the Insta360 Go, and just look at some of the reviews people did with that, because the reviews people did with that thing, a lot of people did exactly what I want to do with this, which is like hide this down inside of a hide this inside of a coffee cup, and you could pour coffee on top of it and it's totally okay. You can hide this into like small places and just get really neat looking shots of of things that you could not normally get with a camera. So I want to play with it kind of in that context. But I'm also going to see if I can't find actual, like, action camera-y stuff to do with it. Which I need to find a way. Diablo. What? Coffee doesn't damage? I mean, I'm not actually going to try coffee. I just use that as an example. But, I don't know whether the heat from hot coffee would damage it. You could obviously pour cold coffee on and that would be fine. These are waterproof to 10 meters, so that should be okay. Technically, coffee does actually have a fair amount of acidity to it, so I guess maybe that wouldn't be good for the sealing gaskets. I don't know. I'm not going to be trying this. I'm just going to throw it under water. Like, I'll find reasons for it to be in water, but that's about it. I have no interest in actually trying specifically coffee or any of the other odd things that could work. Let's see, what else? I don't know what else. Oh, so let's see. I did want to... One of the topics that I wanted to kind of drag Corbin into, but he bailed out on it. I wanted to talk a little bit about, of course, the Pixel 6 and MacBook Pro, the new MacBook Pros that just came out with the M1 Pro and M1 Max. Now, there's obviously so much to say. We've seen so many hot takes. If you're watching tech Twitter, or if you're just reading a lot of reviews, you're seeing some interesting conflicting opinions about everything. I'm not going to touch most of that stuff, but one particular thing has been just gnawing at me because it is the silliest set of comments I'm seeing. So if you're talking to some people, you're going to hear that, like, the people who just bought MacBook Pros or Pixels saying the same thing. Wow, they're super fast. They're smooth. Like, I can't find anything wrong with the performance. These are awesome. Then, if you talk to anyone who's, we'll just say benchmark ecstatic is what I'm actually going to call them. The people who rely on benchmarks, they're all popping up saying, yeah, the Pixels don't really have this good a performance. They don't look like they're really any faster. Some cases they're slower than a Samsung phone, or they're slower than this other company's chip, and blah, blah, blah. And the exact same thing is being said about the new MacBook Pros. The M1 Pro and M1 Max, like, everyone is popping up saying, yeah, these aren't really that much faster than, they're barely faster than the M1. Like, this isn't anything special. And I gotta say, this is turning to be, in my mind, one of the most obnoxious, pointless arguments there could be. And it all comes down to benchmarks. Almost exclusively. Now, don't get me wrong, there are some individual scenarios where, yes, the M1 Max, they're just not optimized for everything. And there's certain very narrow cases where you can bring something to it and, yeah, it's not going to perform super well. It happens. But in most cases, they're performing really, really well. People are not finding huge problems with them. Obviously, I forget who shared it, sorry, but someone brought up the comparison of Adobe Premiere Pro rendering a video, and was showing that the M1 Max, I think it was performing like garbage. Not like garbage, but it was basically just meeting some laptop that was half the price, I think from Lenovo or something. Anyway, and it showed some other laptop absolutely just mopping the floor with both of those. Yeah, sure. Bring up You could bring Adobe into this equation. Adobe absolutely puts out software that can chew up a processor. It's also a company that is famous for not optimizing for Macs very often, if ever. As far as I recall, Premiere, I think, got an optimization for the original M1, but I don't believe that they've done anything for the Pro or the Max models yet. Not that that's like a good defense, but I'm thinking possibly their optimizations may only target like the original M1, which means it might not be using all the cores, it might not be taking advantage of other features, etc., etc. Diablo, yeah. So, not going too far down this road, but just to put it simply, if anyone's holding up a number for single core performance, or they're relying on a single test with software that is sort of famously, I don't want to say biased, that's an unfair thing to say, but let's just say software that is notoriously well optimized for one platform and not another. Yeah, I'm not going to buy into too many of those complaints, because in a lot of cases they just don't really represent real world use. When's the last time you used software that didn't have any sort of multi-threaded functionality? I mean, it happens, it's out there, but it's not common. You can do the same thing with so many other things. There's there are some tasks that require specific functionality. Obviously, games. And benchmarks, by the way, some benchmarks are good about this, others aren't. Some benchmarks are very clearly focused on games. So, they test how well a GPU can actually handle things. They test the full number of cores on a GPU. They're testing individual core performance. They might test multi-core performance, but that's the thing. Some tests are going to focus on a specific thing, and they're frankly, I think they're good for that. They actually do represent real world use for that function. They're not so good when people are just popping up and saying, oh, look at the single core performance of the Pixel 6, or look at the single core performance of the MacBook Pro. They suck because they don't beat this other thing out there that was targeted at winning in single core performance. Yeah, shocker. No one's surprised. But people act like that's a big deal. So, yeah. That's my quick slam on benchmarks. I didn't want to, like I said, I didn't want to spend a lot of time on it. That was probably more than anyone cared to hear, but yeah. It's just a little nauseating to see that become so much of the argument when it really didn't make any sense. Let's see. I think it was Diablo. Yeah, you shared the grammar correction as you type on Pixel 6. I obviously haven't read this, but let's see. Despite the success and widespread adoption of smartphones, using them to compose longer pieces of text is still quite cumbersome. As one writes, grammatical errors can often creep into text, especially in undesirable and formal situations. And correcting these errors can be time-consuming on a small display with limited controls. I've been writing a lot of emails on my phones lately, and I have to 1000% confirm this. Yeah, you make the smallest mistake, especially if you go back and decide to rephrase a sentence, it's kind of crappy. To address some of these challenges, we are launching a grammar correction feature that is built directly into Gboard on Pixel 6 that works entirely on device to preserve privacy, detecting and suggesting corrections for grammatical errors while the user is typing. Okay, so that's neat. Watching their sample here. Okay, so it's the typical kind of spell correct functionality, just this one's a grammar corrector. Same thing that we've had in Microsoft Word, Google Docs and anywhere else that's sort of like that. That's cool. And yes, I agree. This would have been great years ago. I kind of thought it was there sooner. I don't know if I just assumed my grammar was that good that I just wasn't getting too many or any warnings or what, but I have had situations where correctly spelled words were flagged as needing a correction because they didn't fit the grammar. So I'm thinking that this was already maybe partially there, and maybe they're upgrading what this does. Because actually I don't know if it was just this morning or yesterday morning, something like that. I remember typing something and it yelled at me because I used the past tense of a word when the sentence would only have made sense with the present tense. So I know that happened on the phone. I suppose it could have been this and it was rolling out sooner than I would have expected, but I'm sure I've seen that more, or I'm sure I've seen it before today. Oh wow, they actually wrote quite a bit about this. A little surprised. Let's see. People currently also say Gboard has become garbage, so hopefully it is definitely better on the fixes, or on the sixes. Yeah, for some reason that double posted. Oh well. Anyway, I started reading it and it's like, did he correct something and retype it? What's going on here? And then, yeah, then, whoa, double. Anyway, so, yeah, I'm looking at this and it's a good improvement. I'm assuming that this will be rolling out to, let's see, does this roll out to everyone immediately, or does it say? Let's see it being mentioned here. I'm assuming maybe that this is already a thing. We are launching a grammar correction feature built directly into Gboard on Pixel 6. It seems like this would work on any device. It doesn't seem like this should require Pixel 6 tensor stuff. I suppose maybe, but I'm inclined to assume not. Let's see. I mean, this has been a commonplace feature for a long time. I suppose in the interest of battery preservation, they might not do that, but yeah, I don't know. Anyway, so let's see. By the way, feel free to suggest topics. I'm already quickly approaching the lack of topic territory, but let's see what else. Just for anyone who's curious, again, I mentioned this in Discord, but Pixel 6 should be coming in about a week. Well, not even a week, I guess Monday. Yeah, my estimate from FedEx says Monday. It's a little weird. I got the Pixel Buds from UPS and they're sending the Pixel 6 Pro by FedEx. Not happy about that. Would have happily reversed those two. I have... Oh, and then it should be about 3 weeks, I think, and I'm supposed to have the MacBook Pro. So, I will have more comments to share once those are in hand. Let's see, what else is there? Like I said, I quickly ran out of stuff. This is one of the first few times that Corbin and I really actually hit most of our topics up front in good, quick fashion, and didn't have to, and didn't leave a ton of stuff sitting on the side. So feel free to suggest stuff. I, 'cause, 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 ' Oh. Well, that's marginally useful. Um, let's see. So, what else do we have? Sorry, I thought I had another thing and I was going to bring it up and it just totally escaped me. Okay, what just happened in RambleCast? Ah, Diablo with the... yes. So, yeah. Google's opening the door for developers to start making their own Material U apps. I mean, strictly speaking, this was part of the same Android Dev Summit announcement. But yeah, they've added Material U to the SDK. So it's actually properly there and available now. They've added support to Jetpack Compose, so it's easier to build, so on and so forth. So yeah, basically Material U is now officially and truly there for developers. They've also done, yep, I was gonna say, I bet it's got to be linked in here. They've also done the Material U design guidelines, which means that there's going to be a whole site dedicated to this. I'm elated. But no, anyway. So yeah, it's the typical run-of-the-mill stuff. They're really going to be showing off all of the things that developers are supposed to follow, all the indicators for what their apps can and should look like under Google's design recommendations. Yeah, so it's good, I guess. I suspect this means within the next probably within the next week, we're going to start seeing some of the independent developers popping up with Material U updates, and then over the next month and a half, probably. Oh wait, we're close enough that it might not happen, that like a lot of people might wait until Christmas, the good old college break. But yeah, I think what we're going to end up seeing is, as usual, we're going to see a sudden, just absolute rush of all these apps that pop up and reskinned and rethemed to Material. So expect all the websites to be covering those. And then it'll probably be a huge rush up to and through Christmas break. At the end of Christmas break, it'll slow way down, and then we'll start seeing some of the more corporate apps, like big company apps. Some of those will switch, most of them probably won't. And yeah, that'll be pretty much the norm. Oh, I just realized I'm on the wrong window share mode. There we go. That way Corbin's window is no longer just floating there needlessly. I was thinking, why does that look weird? Why is there a weird block in the way? Duh. Anyway, oops. Oh, and I didn't even realize it, but hey, foldables are covered within their material design guidelines. That's interesting. Oh, hey, they refer to the way that the device is folded as postures. That's fun. Talking about the reachability. Okay, at least they've got some good stuff covered here. Don't place dialogues on the fold. Yeah, good call. Okay, anyway, so yeah, material design guidelines will, like I said, we'll see a lot of apps popping up with this pretty quickly. Dividing the screen. There's got to be an API for that, right? That tells you if there's a fold that you want to try to avoid or not. There has to be. They took shots at the Duo. I mean, I wouldn't say that that's taking a shot at the Duo. it's a legitimate acknowledgement that the Duo does not, like, you legitimately do not want to have a situation like this. So, I mean, it's an unavoidable admission. It doesn't look good, and it's obviously in relation to the Duo, but yeah, it's unavoidable. You actually kind of have to. Developers actually do have to be careful not to let something like that happen. Whereas on the Galaxy Fold, the Flip, as far as I'm aware, it's not really a big deal if you place anything on the Fold. Like, it's not going to be hard to read. I know with the Galaxy Fold, and obviously with the Flip, there's still a little bit of a crease indentation spot. It's not as obvious or noticeable as it is in previous generations, but you can tell in photos that there's that little bit of a like warped effect. Though I'm not sure if you can really see it that much when the screen is on. I suppose Beastlightum and Austin, I think you tried it, or maybe you tried the Flip. Whoever it was, sorry. You could probably confirm whether or not the version 3s had that, but I know when the screen is off, it's visible. You can tell it's there, but you'd still be able to read text just fine through it. So anyway, let's see. Diablo. Banking and insurance apps get Material U 10 years later. Yeah. Oh no. They're... Honestly, I kind of feel like those are going to be the ones where they just outright skip Material U. Because, let's be honest, Material U this is, I don't want to call it an in-between phase. This is the start of a transition. But I think it's the transition towards something that's going to be this, but kind of toned down. And if I'm right about that, and hopefully I am, then what I think is going to happen is a lot of banks are going to see this and say, look, we appreciate what you're trying to do. We're just not going to do that. Thanks, bye. Call us up in a couple years when you have something that we can work with our branding. But yeah, I don't think they're just going to naturally do it. Even late. So yeah, anyway. I wonder if there was anything else interesting in here. So they covered foldables, dynamic color, build better with design tokens. Oh, okay. I see what that's nothing. What's new in Android 12? Yeah, let's see what they do say in there, because dynamic color, large screen guidance, simplified type scale. That's actually create a custom type scale to apply readable, accessible, and beautiful typography that works across device sizes. Huh. Okay, not what I thought it was going to be, but yeah, that definitely did need to happen. Widget updates. Wow, that was the whole list. What's new in Android 12? 4 things. But yeah, widget updates. Let's see. How many people really use widgets? Is, I think, the question that has to not be ignored there. Alright, anyway. So, yeah. This is cool. We'll see apps fairly soon. They actually even say you don't have to do dynamic. You can do only your colors theme. That's good. I mean, technically you've always been able to do that. But I guess having the widgets or the various control shapes. My God, come on. Though, yeah, custom colors allow products to enable dynamic color, but also reserve specific additional color roles for an essential to an app's meaning. Often referred to as semantic color, a custom color allows flexibility alongside the baseline scheme and dynamic color. Okay, so I guess that means that your Material U color choices will... the system will generate a set that allows for contrast with the colors that you assign. I wonder how many companies are going to try their colors, find that they don't like some color that they already had, and then they'll start adopting something that Material U kind of suggests for them, or kind of generically implements when they're not trying. That'd be kind of funny. Damn it, I need to find a place to hide like 2 things so they're just not in the way on my desk. Momentarily though, I'm putting away this damn action camera. I say damn action camera, it's actually, like I said, it is badass, but it needs to not be immediately in the way at the moment. Did I put, oh yeah I did, okay. And like all DJI boxes, once you take stuff out, it never wants to go back in the right way. Okay, so what else do we have? Dare I go news crawling? See what stuff also happened. Yeah, reviews on the Pixel 6 are definitely out. It seems like the general consensus is really great, really great. We'll pop open. This was what, Taylor's, right? Oh. Weird. For some reason, I thought Taylor had taken that picture. But okay. Let's see. Do we have... I remember one of the things I heard was that the photo samples, because AP right now is having a terrible resolution issue with our photos. Camera, here we go. So I know Taylor, or I think Taylor was going to put these in a separate Google album, or Google Photos album. It doesn't look like Ryan did. That's a shame. Oh hey, a video test. Really quick, just out of curiosity. Image looks sharp. It's blowing out in the clouds. Not too terrible. 14 seconds. Needed more than that. But it does look like colors are coming out really pretty well. I mean, it matches the skin tones reasonably well. Not seeing any real issues there. Let's see. David, AP having issues? What's new? Seems like the new norm. Yeah. Let's see. Duarte is like, damn, people, we gave you the coolness. Y'all didn't bring it. Yeah. No, Matthias, I feel sorry for that guy. I mean, I don't really, but I feel like he put a lot of work into making something that was intended to be one thing, and it turned out being something entirely different. MKBHD was more negative than most. Yeah, I saw Austin had linked that in the general chat, and I hadn't gotten around to watching the video yet. That was I'm assuming that came out a day or two ago. But yeah, I haven't gotten around to watching it. I want to. Though at the same time, he's also still calling it almost incredible. Like, to me, that sounds like it's not, like, I'm okay, from a title like that, without watching the video at all, without having any context on what is good or bad, to say almost incredible and then to have a more negative review, what I interpret from that is, oh, it just dropped? Okay. That makes sense, I guess. But the thing that my takeaway, just my assumption of what to expect in that scenario, is that a lot of his complaints are probably nitpicks that he's aware of, he thinks they could have fixed, but overall still thinks the phone is good enough to kind of overcome those issues. Believe me, every review I write, I want to nitpick the living hell out of every detail, because this is what makes reviews hard for me, honestly. I get something like the Razer Hammerhead earbuds. These things, I love them. They're great earbuds. They have problems, and I could seriously list the problems on these things for a good long while. Like, long enough that if you heard me list the problems, you would think, holy crap, no one should ever buy these things. Yet I've got 3 expensive pairs of earbuds in front of me and a 4th pair in a box over my shoulder that I'm never going to open. And I can honestly say, like, they're my favorite. They're also, ironically, the cheapest of the 3 pairs I have in front of me. But yeah, these Razer earbuds are my favorite. But yeah, the list of complaints I would have about them, a mile long. The Klipsch earbuds that I'm also going to be reviewing, these things, they're actually more than twice the price. I actually decided I really like them for slightly different reasons. But yeah, holy crap, if you could see the list of complaints that I have already put together for this, like, it's scary. For as much as these cost, to have some of the complaints they do have is actually legitimately a bad thing. Like, I don't want to hate spree on them in the review, because I think they're good buds. But man, the complaints, lots. And for what it's worth, the more I think about the OnePlus Buds Pro, the more I have more complaints. But yeah, like, I could complain all day about all 3 of these, but I do think they're also really good products that I would generally recommend any one of these 3. So yeah, I have a funny feeling that's probably where MKBHD's video is gonna go. A lot of little things that when you add them up, like, it bugs you that they're all there, but at the same time, you could point to every other device and be like, yeah, but okay, they have the same problems. It's when you do something that's generally good in a few ways that people lose the ability to complain about those ways, or that they know that they have to stretch their complaints a little bit. At that point, people naturally start looking at other places to complain, and it gets real easy at that point. And I'm not saying Pixel 6 is like some amazing, oh my god, device, but the non-Pro model at its price has basically just won this year's Best Buy kind of status. Just price to performance to features, everything there. Like, that price is low enough that anything in the similar price category doesn't really compete. When you compare against the Pro, that's a different story. The Pro it's a fine price, but it's not like it's reshaping the market in any big way. Let's see. Okay, Diablo apparently does not like the battery life. I've heard mixed comments on that. Some people say the battery life is incredible. Some people say it's pretty average, like what they expect, and then I've heard other people saying, nah, my battery life is worse, or worse than they expected. And so yeah, I'm wondering if that's usability issues. Some people are maybe pushing it harder for one reason or another, or maybe it's a case of I don't know. It could be just a fluke. Maybe it's the wireless network in their area. Maybe the Pixel 6 is doing something good or bad with that. I can make a lot of guesses, but it's hard to say. Battery life seems to be all over the place. Awesome. Basically, bad battery life on the 6 Pro, and he doesn't like the HDR on the photos. Do we have any samples here? Ryan does not mention it in his. Let's see, do we have it in Taylor's? I feel like there's a better chance he would call it out specifically. He does not either. Okay. That's a bit of a shame. I'll tinker with the HDR when I get it, or if anybody has any specific thing to point to. Apparently, Michelle just posted Google is working on nearby calls. You can do stuff between hubs and phone. I don't know what that means. Awesome. You see where he's coming from on photos. I think the Pixel's now over brightening shadows, and it just looks a little weird, even if it's more realistic to the eye. Yeah. Well, Pixels were always kind of doing this. Though I guess Samsung was... I think Samsung was doing it more, and then Apple wasn't really doing it enough. Let's see. So, hopping over to... This is Taylor's photo. Is there... Does he caption these or explain what these are? No, he doesn't. Okay. I know Taylor took some photos with different phones, but maybe didn't post them. Yeah, I'm thinking he didn't post those. Okay, well, and that's part of the reason why when I get around to it, I'm going to tinker with using a Pixel 4 to compare against the Pixel 6 in a few instances. I'm not going to be doing a review, but I want to be able to compare them. Anyway, let's see. So, Diablo heard from Artem that he does not like hearing the battery is bad. Yeah, Artem doesn't have his yet, so he's panicking over this. Carson reviewers are saying, why did I only get 3 hours of screen on time after shooting 4K 60 video all day? Yeah. Yeah. Well, hey, at least you can shoot 4K 60 video all day. And, I mean, setting aside, you obviously don't have that kind of battery life, you can do it. The Pixel 5 and, what was it, 4A or whatever? I don't know. Whatever phones supported 4K 60, they famously would overheat. So, hey, at least this phone won't overheat when you're shooting. That's a huge step up. Massive step up. Awesome. You think the Pixel 6 camera seems to be a step closer to Samsung's processing? I'm semi-inclined to agree to that. I don't think it's the same processing effect, but there is something to it. Actually, if I come back to this one, for example, I wasn't there. I don't know what this looks like, but I feel like these colors look a little hyper real for this setting. There's definitely some sharpening going on. There are little effects here that leave you wondering. To be fair, this is also looking at it on AP, so our image compression has been special. Sometimes it's hard to tell what the actual quality of an image is based on any of this stuff. Oh, whoops. I just realized I had the wrong view showing. The first image, the one I said was hyper real colors, was this one. The bricks look probably realistic, but I feel like the painting on this wall somehow gives me the feeling that it's maybe been given a little bit more vibrance than it should have. That being said, the reality is, like, some of these look like really good shots. They're not perfect, but the color, everything here, it looks a little almost like an advertising shot. I mean, come on, with a look like that, you can't judge a photo like this. You can't look away from the eyes. I mean, come on. Good dog. Good dog. But yeah, so that's actually a really good. You can, it's a little wonky in spots, but you can really tell where stuff comes into and goes out of focus in this shot. That's neat. Yeah. This was another thing I noticed. When Taylor first showed off some of the images he took, he had gone to the zoo and taken a bunch of pictures, and I noticed everything that was taken outside in what was obviously an overcast day, it all looked super washed out. And I think the Pixel's still having a little bit of trouble kind of nailing color temperature. Carson, the light box doesn't show photos in full res. Yeah, I know. Believe me, I know. It's something we've been yelling at. But yeah, anyway, the images that the images that Taylor showed off, everything that came from indoors, I noticed the colors were a lot more vibrant. It was just generally richer. And that's not surprising, but it is striking how different it was. So I think some outdoor shots are probably gonna, like, Google might need to ship a firmware update to sort of fix the color issues. Just a thought. I could be wrong. Maybe it's just really the daylight lighting was just too intense and it just keeps turning out that way, but part of me thinks that they might need to do a little bit to kind of clear up daylight shots. When indoor shots look this nice, like this looks like it was passed through Lightroom first. Whereas, let's see. Does he have... There's one in particular that I was thinking of that he shared. It's not this one, but this is a decent enough example. I mean, this is outside, and I mean, yes, this is pretty realistic to what grass actually looks like, but it still feels washed out. There are things in this image that probably should have a little more color to them. Again, it's a zoo, so who knows? A lot of stuff is outside, and a lot of stuff does kind of get sun bleached. It's hard to say with certainty, but part of me thinks that there might be a little bit of just... the phone might not be getting everything in rich color when it's being hit by daylight. Though it does seem to do pretty well on greens and even like summer colors. Though, even looking at this, like those reds and browns look a little weak. The greens look strong in this image. They look really strong. But those yellows, reds, browns, oranges, they exist, but they don't seem to have a lot of vibrance to them. Yeah. Well, and I mean, except this isn't even a cloudy day. That's pretty direct sunlight. So, yeah, I think it's just maybe something about the processing. It's good, but it's not necessarily adding quite the life to the photos that they could have. Is that a bad thing? Not necessarily. Depending on what you want to do with your photos, it might actually be better to do this, because it's easier to take this, throw it into Instagram. The one at the zoo was definitely cloudy. Yeah, me and Taylor had a little bit of a conversation about those shots at the zoo, because it was overcast, cloudy, ugly. And that's when I first noticed how washed out everything looked. But here, I mean, this is clear skies. And it's still very obviously not as rich as it probably could have been. You're hoping they fix the lens flare? Yeah. That one does stand out. Let's see. I think it was Taylor who brought the lens flare issue. Let's see. I know what the photo looks like that I should be looking for. Okay, this isn't it, but yeah, there is some interesting stuff happening with lens flares. The thing is, I know that this isn't fair. This isn't a fair thing to say. But there are times people actually really like lens flares. They actually can be kind of neat and artistic. But that doesn't mean you want them. Oh yeah, here's the bad one. Or what I would consider bad. Because if you look at this image, like, you can start counting all the lines for lens flares. I mean, there's one big one just streaking right up through the middle of this shot here. Like right straight through the middle of the boards and up. You can see at least a tiny one in the corner down here. It's streaking across one of the, like, that middle board. Just right there at the edge. And then obviously coming back up here, I can count. Oh, there's even two crossing each other. That's weird. I'm counting at least 4 flares in this. Maybe more. So yeah, this is a bit much. And I'm sure Google can do a little bit to fix it, but they're not. This is going to be a lot like the first Pixel, where they fix it, but it's going to be a softer effect. It's not going to be perfect. If you know what you're looking for, you might even be able to spot it. Yeah, so I don't think it's the worst thing in the world, but it'll be a problem. Diablo, how fast does the machine learning apply to the camera app and processing, or does one know and they fix by app update and monthly patch? I'm not exactly sure what you mean. Though a small part of me is wondering if you're possibly referring to machine learning in the sense of building its algorithm and learning, discovering things. Because if that's the case, damn it. Come on. There you go. Because machine learning kind of doesn't work that way. I mean, they basically build out the algorithm, and a sample set of data to do a lot of the thinking for them, after which they're mostly just running everything else through it. I don't have a good way to explain this without getting into the whole how does machine learning work, and I'm not sure if that's what you're referring to. Let's see. So the Mashal post, Google is working on nearby calling between Pixel phones and the Nest Hub. With this feature, you can receive incoming calls on your Nest Hub, transfer calls between your phone and Hub, and start calls with your voice. Okay. Huh. I get it. This is a lot like Apple's was it called Unity or Crossover? I don't remember what it's called anymore. But yeah, this is kind of like their whole thing of if anybody calls you or texts you, especially with iMessage, all that stuff will just kind of appear on all of your devices, and you can pop between them freely. So, yeah, that's cool. I'm not sure this is... Well, yeah, this is good. It is going to be interesting to see how they handle call switching, though. Like, are you going to say that you just want to switch, and then your phone rings? Like, if your phone is going to ring... I don't know. I am curious. I want to see how this will actually play out. Receive calls on Nest Hub when your phone is at home. Quickly move calls between your phone and Nest Hub. Start calls with voice. Try saying, "Hello, monkey." Call Simone on WhatsApp. Hello, monkey. Want that to be my activation phrase. That I will say that legitimately. Can we get somebody who can hack a Google Home to come in here and just reprogram it to respond to "Hey, monkey"? I will 100% do that. That would be my new favorite activation phrase. Very notably, I call my cat Monkey. Not her name, just a nickname for her. It works well. So yeah, anyway, Pixel 6, all the reviews seem like they're pretty positive, especially for the 6 because of the price. I'm seeing a little more variability on the on the Pro, because obviously it's so much more expensive. So yeah, I get it, but yeah, it seems like these were pretty big landmark phones. Let's see. Diablo, wonder if the... Oh, man, okay. We're going to call 15 minute, because all of a sudden I'm just getting the yawns. Not sure why. Anyway, Diablo, wonder if the etch thingy will also stream on hubs, like how it streams, or like how it seems will work for Chromebooks. I mean, I'm assuming that it's probably not all that different. In some way, shape, or form, you're probably sending the call to... I wonder if in the background it's just a like Google Duo handling the call and you're just getting data. I mean, obviously it has to be for the hubs, but is that also what's happening with a phone? I don't know. I'm a little curious about this. Anyway, let's see. don't know that there's a lot to look at in a Pixel 6 review without just sitting down and reading it. Out of mild curiosity. Oh, wait, what the hell? Taylor didn't do our usual format. Or he changed it up a little bit. Okay, what about our pro review? Diablo, looking forward to being able to use your Chromebook without reaching for your phone. Yeah, I know what you mean. Obviously I'm not using a Chromebook, so that's gonna apply differently to me, but yeah, I don't know, to some extent I'd like to be able to receive a call, reach over, grab my mic, stick it in front of myself, and just be like, hey, what's up? Because yeah, that is more convenient. It is a way to like talk to people comfortably, and I don't want to have to hold up my phone. I don't want to pull out earbuds so that I can avoid holding up my phone. And I hate putting people on speaker, because frankly I hate being put on speaker most of the time, and I feel like I don't enjoy other people being on speaker, largely because they are also harder to hear, and they have a harder time hearing me, so you know, naturally speaker just less pleasant. But yeah, I'd like to be able to just have a call come in and automatically like, hey, I'm already at my computer, I can just talk to them through this. That seems like the much easier, better life. That being said, I also don't do many phone calls. Fortunately, phone calls are a thing I squeak out like once every few weeks, and that's about it. Actually, wait, every few weeks? Now that I think about it, I've done video chats, but I don't think I've called anyone in forever. I've only gotten like 2 or 3 calls. Everything else has been video chat for months. I guess I'm now thinking about how many actual calls I got. And aside from like answering quick 30-second calls or trying to suss out if someone was a spam caller, I've only actually had in the last month, I think 2, maybe 3 real calls. And that might even be over more than a month. Not sure. So yeah, anyway. Do we have any other topics? I'm looking around. Don't want to over ramble. Let's see. What calls? Yeah, exactly. Well, you know, aside from one friend that at various times she will call me up and we will talk for a good long while. But it's inconsistent and unreliable. So we might only go a few days without talking, or we might go a few months without talking. And we're busy, so, you know, it kind of makes a lot of sense. But she's one of my best friends, so anyway, every once in a while she calls me up, we talk for like 2-3 hours, and then we don't talk again for weeks. Let's see, but yeah, aside from that, I can't think of any calls that I've had that last for more than 30 seconds. Everything else has been video calls or video chat. And all sitting at the computer using this webcam, this mic, stuff like that. I can't say that I've done a duo call, like a legit duo call ever. The only times I've ever actually used it are like trying it, testing it, stuff like that. But yeah, anyway, let's see. Then, yeah, again, if there are any topics, let me know. Otherwise, really quick, talking about plans, upcoming stuff, just kind of preparation in case we don't have topics. Let's see. I need to actually hammer out reviews pretty hard, so this weekend might be a bit of a challenge for streaming. I'm thinking Saturday is... Oh, actually, you know what? I'm gonna look at weather. Not that that should necessarily affect too much, but of course, I need weather to be good. You know what it gives me? Friday, rain. Saturday, rain. Ugh. Sunday, at least, not rainy, just mediocre. Carson, I will actually come back to that in just a second. Okay, so anyway, what I'm getting at though is I may be focused really hard on trying to knock out reviews. So Saturday, there's a decent chance I will just not stream. Sunday, because it is going to be the better weather day, I might not stream that day either. This weekend, I might just take off to do work because in part one, I need to catch up a little bit. I'm behind on reviews. In part, I'm getting hit with reviews left and right. I mean, I've literally got 2 things from one company and another thing coming that I can't talk about yet. You guys know what it is. I haven't said anything, and you can guess exactly what it is. It's been so thoroughly leaked. It's ridiculous. I have... Even as I look around, it's like, that's a review unit, that's a review unit, that's a review unit. I'm wearing a review unit. I have another one that just arrived today. I have another coming next week, I think. Something like that. Plus, I've got the Pixel 6 coming. Well, Pixel 6 Pro. I don't know if I should really mention Pro each time or not, but anyway. Plus other things. So yeah, I need to take a couple, 2-3 days and just do nothing but knock hard on reviews, which is also somewhat interrupted by the fact I'm working on a post for AP that I was hoping to make pretty special. Sadly, I don't think it's going to get to be that special because, well, I'll say more about it later. But yeah, hopefully that will go up. Some people want it done on Thursday, tomorrow. It's not going to be. It's going to be done Friday, which is going to eat into me doing the movie post. So yeah, I'm going to be working pretty hard for the next week. We'll see what condition I'm in come RambleCast next week. And I've got... Oh, wait. Actually, when is... Okay, good. I have 2.5 weeks. Wait, no. A week and a half for that thing. That's not great, but I can work with it. It's almost 2 weeks. Okay. I'm going to have to make some calls and maybe drag somebody in to help me with a few of these things. Just get a local person to go out and help me shoot. Carson, if only. Diablo. David no longer the Mac writer. Cody take the mantle. Here's the thing. Legitimately, I don't know that that's going to ever happen because Max has kind of stepped in as the guy writing about Mac stuff because he bought an iMac and reviewed that. He already bought not the exact same MacBook Pro that I ordered, but close. So he could do it. I don't know if he's going to. And I don't know that we would do a review for the MacBook. So, yeah. I don't know if that will actually turn into a review. But technically, the topic was broached. Just no one has been... It hasn't been assigned to anyone, and there's no confirmation we'll actually do it. But there has been talk about it. Very little, but it has at least been mentioned. The MacBook Pro, mine is still slated to arrive November 17th through the 24th, I think. Let's see, I can look that up real quick. I would show you my screen, but it will have an order number right there that I don't know if that matters at all, but I'm just not going to show it. Let's see. Yeah. Current estimate has it arriving November 17th through November 24th. It is in the processing stage, so presumably I assume they're either assembling or have at least sent the order to the warehouse. Which actually, no, they're probably... Yeah, that's probably not ordered to... It, yeah, they probably sent the order to the warehouse to do an assembly. Not that I'm going to, but... Alright, it says I can still cancel. So yeah, I think they haven't built anything yet. Though it's Apple, so even if they had built it, it's not like they're not going to sell the same SKU like 7 seconds after. I'm sure plenty of people ordered this exact same thing. Let's see. Okay, quickly skimming down and reading stuff. But yeah, anyway, if I do stream it all this weekend, there's a chance that I do a photo edit stream. Chance. That's as much as I will commit to, is there's a chance. Like if it makes sense to do photo edits at the time that I would stream, then I'll do it. But I wouldn't bank on that, because I'll need to go a little faster than I can do if I'm streaming. I need to get myself into the mode where I can do that quickly. Like if I can focus on doing edits and talk at the same time and not distract myself, that would be good. Carson, wonder if the M1 chip is harder to manufacture than Intel's. Since RAM is part of the chip, my hunch, I mean, the more that you put in, strictly speaking, the more can go wrong, and therefore, yeah, the cost is higher because you're going to have a certain degree of breakage, or failure rate rather. But yeah, I don't think that that's necessarily the issue here. Also, strictly speaking, since it's on a smaller manufacturing process than most Intel chips, or at least I'm pretty sure it is, right? Isn't the M1 Pro a let's see, M1, well, sorry, I'm getting an M1 Max, but M1 Max manufacturing process, let's see if that comes up with anything usable. Yeah, it was 5 nanometer. That's what I thought. Right there. 5 nanometer. I don't remember how many, if any, of Intel's chips are 5 nanometer, but I thought all of Intel's chips were still stuck on 7, aren't they? Am I wrong on that? Austin or Carson, one of the two of you, I think, might tell me. Because I know you guys follow closer than I do. Regardless, for that reason too, I think it's moderately safe to say that yes, they're technically harder. Okay, TSMC's 5 nanometer. So yeah, anyway, technically, yeah, I assume Apple is going to have a technically harder time than Intel, but yeah, nanometer doesn't matter as much as density. Yeah, well, yeah, okay, for manufacturing, I guess that's just true anyway. Density just is always going to matter more. So yeah, I guess, I don't know. 5 nanometer isn't really 5 nanometer anyway. Yeah, that's true too. Yeah, all of the things that we used to measure by stopped meaning anything. So yeah, anyway, to me, going back to Carson, you said there's probably a ton of different SKUs. That's the catch, where I would say in terms of the M1 processors or chips, the answer to that is no, not really. I mean, they have, let's see, I know I counted this before, but I don't remember. The M1 Max and Pro. Let's go into the Mac. We're just gonna go straight to the. I don't know if there's different processors for the 14 and 16, but just looking at the 16, they have. They're gonna have the Max, which comes in. Let's see, it's I think just what 10 core. Okay, I'm gonna have to double check this. Oh, wow. Top of the line, you don't even get processor options. Okay, so storage is a separate chip, if I recall. So with this model, you only have a memory choice, so that's just 2 SKUs. With this model, you can bump to a max with 24 or a max with 32 core. But I think that's the same 32 core as the higher model I just looked at. So, and then here you've got 2 more SKUs. And sorry, that's a 24 core GPU. They're all 10 core CPU. So I think what's happening here, you always get 2 memory SKUs or 2 memory options for each of the different models. Do we have 10, 16, 16? What does it look like down here? Can you go to... Yeah, those are going to be the same, and that's the same. Okay, so that's 3 different... They only have 3 different processors, each one with 2 memory options. So that's 6 SKUs. Unless there's something special happening here. Now, granted, that's just on the 16-inch. Maybe the 14-inch has... yep. The 14-inch has an 8-core CPU model. Okay, but so far we're up to 6 chips. That's it. 6 whole chips. Let's see what the 14-inch has in store for us. Do we have anything different? That's the same. Those are all the same. Okay, so this doesn't have anything different. This one, because of that 8-core CPU, that is definitely different. Oh! That's a lot of options. Okay, and this time we've got an 8-core CPU with 14-core GPU and a 10-core CPU with 14-core GPU. Both of those are unique to this size. And then you get to the 10-core CPU with 16-core GPU, and then the 24 and 32 both max. So, and these also have 2 processor options or memory options. What the hell is that? Okay, something really huge just flew in here. I'm hoping it was a horsefly, but that was giant. Okay, I'm gonna have to go hunting in a second. That thing looked like a freaking wasp. like giant, it was like as big as my thumb sized, maybe a fly. I hope it was a fly. Anyway, I haven't seen it fly back in here, so that worries me. Okay, so anyway, what I'm getting out of looking at these is they have 5 different chips between the Max and the Pro. And a Murder Hornet, I know, right? They have 5 different chips, each one with 2 different memory options. So that's a total of 10 chips. That's not actually that many SKUs for a company that large. Apple's, and you got to figure Apple's probably going to be using these in more than just this product. I bet we're going to see iMacs coming out later on that have some of these same chips, like exact same chips. So in truth, I'm actually a little surprised. What are the odds if we come back up here? Damn it. It is not picking up my scrolling right. Oh, I did not click on that, but okay. Yeah, those are all pumping with Intel chips. Which was the one? This should have M1s, I think. Yeah, these are all regular M1 chips. They haven't put Pro or Max into any of the new iMacs. Okay, so yeah, that's yeah, I'll bet anything that they refresh the iMac line very shortly with the Pro and Max chips. I wonder if they'll do it quietly. They might. Like, just do a press release, because I'm not sure they have much reason to do a whole event saying, hey everyone, look at this new computer that is exactly the same as the one that we just launched a few months back, but now it has new chips. Yeah, I don't think they'll do that. That would make no sense, but it makes a ton of sense if they just do kind of a quiet, like, hey, now we can do the iMacs just like we did the MacBook Pros. Anyway, so yeah, going back to Carson saying there's probably a ton of different SKUs. Now, I know you were talking about the different configurations. And yeah, when you get into configurations, factor in the 10 different types of chips, that each laptop can be available in silver or space gray. Each one has, what, 4 storage options, I think. Yeah, 4 storage options, technically different keyboards, because this is a thing. Oh, hey, drop-downs do not appear to be captured by OBS. That's fun to know. But yeah, if you were here, you would see I have a drop-down that shows, what is it, 5, 10, 16 keyboard options. So yeah, that's a thing. But yeah, when you factor in all the different SKUs that are going to be connected to that, yeah, they start getting a ton of them. But also at the same time, you got to figure assembly on this has to be so quick and easy. You know, the displays are probably built already, so you basically just have to grab. Actually, how would they do this? I imagine assembly must be someone is probably just attaching display to the body at one section, and then they roll that down the ramp. Somebody then drops in the board, the motherboard, the keyboard, batteries probably assembled earlier than that. Attach a few other things, and then Oh, and on the board, they would have had to solder the storage. That should be about it. Like, assembly for a MacBook Pro has got to be fast. There's so few steps involved. It's not like you have to go through a ton of different decisions. You don't have to look at each order and pull tons of stuff. I imagine, to some extent, they probably don't even do it by order. What they're probably doing, this is just a guess, but if I was going to be doing an assembly line for putting together MacBook Pros, I would basically just look at all of the orders that have come through, say, all right, we have 1,000 orders that are the exact same configuration. All right, everyone, pull out these drawers, set them out, locate these parts, and just start assembling. Just put them together in this order, and at the end of today, you'll be done with this. Tomorrow, we'll lay out a different set. That makes a hell of a lot more sense than trying to make everything to order as they're going. So yeah, I wouldn't see a reason to do by the order when they do the numbers that they do. Because after all, I mean, look at actually, that is so not bad. Why is November 26th to December 3rd? Like, not that I'm gonna cancel or anything, but it stands out to me that I could cancel and reorder, and it would mean I get the laptop 1 week later. That's it. At one point, I thought these were up into January. That's what people were saying. And I know the Pixels got up into January, which actually, is that still true? Does it say? Let's try looking at the Pro. Just out of curiosity. They have a waitlist for Google Fi. Waitlist on unlocked. Apple's cleaning cloth got to January. That's what happens when iJustine pimps for your cleaning cloth. A $19 microfiber cloth. I can't believe I just said those words. A $19 microfiber cleaning cloth. Hold on a second. I need to know. This has to be a thing. Okay, Apple cleaning cloth review. Okay. Apple Insider says it's sold out through January. Get this instead. Okay. Here are first photos of the new polishing cloth. Oh god. Oh, Review Geek did it. Oh my god. Rating 3 out of 10. Brutal, Josh Hendrickson. Brutal. When Apple started selling a $19 glorified microfiber cloth dubbed the polishing cloth, it left me with no choice. I had to drop down cash on this thing and give it a full review. Is it magical? Is it a revelation? Can it fix my broken Surface Duo 2? Can it bring about world peace? Man, I hope so. You probably already have microfiber cloths in your home. Every third gadget you buy, your glasses, and even some toys come with one for free. But none of them are like the Apple polishing cloth. For one, it has the Apple logo. And it's compatible with so many Apple devices. We made fun of this last week. If you don't remember, check the playlist. Look at that list. And 3, it might be made of better materials? Let's ask Apple. According to the company, the polishing cloth is, quote, made with soft, non-abrasive material. The polishing cloth cleans and Oh, sorry. The polishing cloth cleans any Apple display, including nanotexture glass, safely and effectively. It is occurring to me it would be so great if I could have delivered that in a Johnny Ive voice. But I can't fake his voice that well. See? It works with nanotexture glass, which is like matte glass, but fancy because it's Apple. What other microfiber cloth can lay claim to compatibility with nanotextured glass? Any of them. All of them, probably. Who knows? An average day outside of Apple Store. Okay. Okay. At this point, I'm just gonna kind of scroll through. Section title, oh crap, it's just a cloth. And I spent $20 on this. Yeah, that's pretty much what I would have expected. Now my disappointment truly is immeasurable. I will live with the shame of having overspent on this cloth forever. My children's children will look upon this heirloom and tell the tale of how Grampy Hendrickson blew an enormous amount of money on a small piece of worthless fabric as a warning to their children. Don't be like me. Buy a reasonable cloth instead. Should I do dramatic readings of reviews in the future? Oh boy. Oh, hey. The what we like, it feels nice. What we don't like, it doesn't even clean. It had one job. Oh, okay. The paragraph earlier really said, I guess that's probably going to be the two paragraphs. Okay. All right. That's where things go really downhill. This cloth, this wonderful, amazing $19 cloth that's safe to use on nanotexture display repels water. Yep, the water slides right off. That's right. It doesn't absorb it at all, which means it can't use you can't use water to clean devices. I tried anyway, and it didn't help. The included instructions say isopropyl alcohol can help with hard to remove smudges. But I can't be expected to read instructions, and I don't carry around isopropyl alcohol. This is supposed to be magical and just work. At best, it just smushes stuff around the display. My devices look no cleaner after the effort. Oh no, I spent $19 on a cloth that doesn't even clean. I should have braced myself better after the letdown of the box. The polishing cloth isn't magical. It's not a true advancement in textile technology. It's not even breathtaking. I spent $19 on a small piece of cloth. I'm clearly an idiot. I retract everything I said. Rating of 3 out of 10. Thank you, Josh Hendrickson. This is accurate. This is worthwhile. I like this guy. I like his writing. This is honestly the writing I want to do at AP half the time. Because holy crap, you guys do not know how much snark I have about so much stuff. I'm way too polite in a lot of posts because if I wasn't, I would catch hell. So yeah, anyway. I'm so glad someone actually did a quote-unquote review of this. And actually, in his case, did actually a very thorough review. And to think, Justine specifically said she would do a review of this cloth. I think I actually need to know now. Did she? Okay, she's mentioned in this. Okay, I appreciate the humor of this, though I'm not entirely sure this person is being entirely humorous. Freya Nagy I'm assuming that's the name he's going for, or she. Waiting for iJustine's level 10 of happiness and excitement review of the cloth before I pick it up. So this person may actually intend to pick it up. Also curious when I fix it will give us a repair score for it. Like I said, I appreciate the humor, but I'm a little worried that this person actually intends to buy it because of her. Diablo, she probably lumped it in with Max. Yeah. Well, she even said she bought it. Or, sorry, she didn't buy it, but she got it with her iMac, was it? I think it was the iMac. And so she was super happy with it. She really liked it. It felt super nice and so on and so forth. And then she lost it. And now she's really excited she'll be able to buy more. And I'm just a little stumped. Because, I mean, if anyone has like 1,000 microfiber cloths, it's her. I kind of feel like I want to understand this excitement. And I don't. Just, I don't. Let's see. Any chance? No. More people still asking her for a review. Oh, 6 hours ago. Breaking news, folks. 6 hours ago, iJustine did in fact get her polishing cloth. Which, God, those words, suddenly I feel bad even saying those words. News update. YouTuber iJustine has received her polishing cloth. We will now return you to your regularly scheduled programming. Show thread. Dare we? Of course. Of course Quinn had to speak up. Though he actually does bring up a fair point. They left a MacBook, or sorry, 3. He ordered 3 MacBook Pros. This guy's making too much money. Anyway, so she had to sign for a delivery of a $19 polishing cloth. I'm wondering if there was more in that package, but whatever. I'm curious. Does she have... Oh, what did she... She says jackpot? Okay, whatever. Alright, anyway. I was hoping she'd say more about it, but I guess not. Okay, yeah. Nothing. Plot twist, fan wanting a signature. I mean, yeah, weirdly that stuff does happen. You never know. Okay, so anyway, mockery aside, the reality is, with all the hype, you know she will do a review. And I'm curious, will she come out and just admit, like, guys, like, it's still just a microfiber cloth, or is she going to be, like, brutal? Did I talk about the Sony phone? I haven't. The thing is, I haven't looked enough at it to really make too much of a commentary. The thing that stands out is $1,800 for a phone. That's such a rough pitch. Oh, you know, the other thing I know something else I should talk about. Okay, Sony will get to be the last of the topics for today. Because this is actually 2 things. Okay, so yeah, Sony's Xperia Pro I, is it? I guess. Yeah, $1,800 phone. They put in a 1-inch sensor for the camera, which, look, say what you will, a 1-inch sensor, you actually have to do some crazy optical stuff to pull off a 1-inch sensor in a phone. Because that 1-inch sensor is larger than their actual, like, outer lens. So they've got to be doing some pretty heavy optical manipulation in order to expand that image out in such a short space. So yeah, that alone makes me very curious. Okay, because, I mean, it's not like there's no camera bump, but that is not a big ass camera bump. That's not some thick giant camera bump. That's just, it's a little bit of a thicker phone than some of them. So yeah, this looks like an interesting phone in that sense, just optically speaking. Let's see, was there 120 hertz display, which is also 4K, which is like, wow, that's neat, but yeah. Zeiss glass, IAF for stills and video. That's actually nice. I know they can do it with other phones ish, but it's not as good as Sony's. Sony has some crazy magic that they do in order to get that. Let's see. Yeah, smaller camera bump than an iPhone 13 or Pixel 6. Yeah, no kidding. I feel like that says a lot. Though I think the phone might be thicker than those two, like at the base. You know, if you're already thicker down here, you're not going to have as big of a camera bump up there. So they might, if they tried to make a phone just as thin as Apple or Google did, they might have had to have a bump the same size as both of those companies. I'm not exactly sure. Okay, so let's do a quick search and actually come up with a site that says something useful about this phone. Sure, CNET, we'll give it to you. Wow, what a choice. Okay, it's the same sensor from the Sony RX100 7, which that alone also is pretty bonkers. That's, I mean, that's not the greatest camera or anything, but that is a camera, like, earlier versions of that camera are what David used to carry to events. So, you know, it is a camera that you can use for professional purposes, and they're sticking the same sensor into a phone. Literally the exact same sensor. Not even just, you know, it's from the same family, but we cut it down. No, this is like the actual same sensor. Carson bringing up, apparently Aquos did that first. Interesting. How thin is that phone? See, a picture like that makes it look super thick, but you can't tell. Yeah, that's a little thicker than most of our phones, but not by a lot. I mean, you can tell from how wide the USB-C port is. It's a little thicker than an average phone. Oh, and also actually that headphone jack, you can tell there's a little bit of buffer space to the top and bottom of that headphone jack. So it's not a super thin phone, but it's not bad. So yeah, if you compare that against phones that are like barely giving you space on the sides of the USB-C port, camera bump is gonna look different. Courage port, David. Oh my god, David. I love that. Dave, oh, you have a crazy camera and you decide to take a picture of a Funko Pop? Why not? I mean, I don't know that it would have been my hero image, but hey, maybe he's all for the... Maybe that's what he's about. You know, Wonder Woman wasn't a bad movie. That's a lie. It was actually kind of bad. But anyway. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, this is not a great photo, but yeah, like he says in the caption down here, not a great way to take a photo, but wanted to test some harsh backlighting. Yeah, I mean, this is basically the worst possible way to take an image, but it does retain detail in his face. That's actually pretty tough to do given these circumstances. I mean, dark skin, backlighting like that, office environment with, I imagine, a little bit of light bouncing back on him, but not enough. So yeah, this is definitely a hard image, and it actually retained detail. Maybe not enough, but it did all right. Looks like these images are scaled down pretty bad too. That's nice. I'm a vlogger. But yeah, anyway. So, without looking really close at this phone, I don't have a ton of things I can say or comment on. But as I keep saying time and time again, I really want to check out these phones, because I think Sony is doing legitimately good, cool things with cameras and phones. They're attacking the problem in the way that other companies aren't. They're literally actually throwing the hardware at it. I mean, that's just cool. It's sort of like, you know, by today's standards, I guess if you're talking to a car guy, it'd be kind of like talking to someone and saying, hey, you know, sure, you built a car that has a computer in it that is optimized and using AI, and it's figuring out stuff to make your engine run better, smoother, more powerful, but it's still capped by how powerful that engine can be. And then you have somebody else, some other company over there that's like, okay, yeah, we get what you're doing, but we're still just going to put really powerful parts in our car. Like, that's it. We're just going to put powerful stuff in our car, and it's just going to always be good at this. And Sony is obviously applying some software stuff too. They're trying to keep up in various ways. The thing is, Sony can always upgrade software and make a better image. No matter what, Apple, Google, all the rest, they can only upgrade the software to produce so much. At a certain point, the hardware is still the limiter. The catch is Sony has to update their software to actually hit that, and I don't know how good they are at upgrading the camera features in their phones. So anyway, man, so much lost in here. I wonder if you took this in RAW, if you could recover the leaves of this tree. I mean, it's already kind of impressive to get that building back as nicely as it did. But I'm seeing spots in here, like, actually the trees down here at street level, they're also basically blacked out. Not quite, but close. I wonder how much of this is recoverable. Yeah, I really want to play with this camera, but I'm not going to pay $1,800 for it. And Sony, we'll see. Maybe I can get Sony to send me a review unit sometime in the future. I don't know if anybody at AP asked for this, actually. I think someone did. I might look into that. just to see. Okay, anyway, the other Sony thing I wanted to look into, because I've been lazy and I wanted to watch this announcement, but I never did. Sony A7 IV. It was announced earlier this week. It was earlier this week, right? I don't think it was last week. Oh, it was last week. Sorry, my bad. The A7 IV, their new big boy camera. I mean, this is kind of like their middle big boy camera. It's the upgrade to the one I actually have. Let's see. Ooh, they threw. Well, they didn't throw a new dial on top, but they lifted one of the dials. That's already interesting. So 33 megapixel, as opposed to the. Wait, what do I have on this? Because for some reason I have it in my head. Wait, does it not say? Because I have it in my head, this is... I never do megapixel counts on cameras anymore. I have it in my head, this is 24. But I could be wrong. Up to 10 frames shooting in lossy RAW with extensive buffer. In-body stabilization rated for 5.5 exposure stops. Ooh, OLED viewfinder? That's nice. 265 H265 videos, S Cinetone, color mode. Those are, I think, pretty normal. 10-bit video. I want. That alone is like the reason everyone will. Okay, here's the thing. Anyone doing video has been angry at Sony for a few years over the fact that all of their cameras were still doing 8-bit video for a very long time. Now, they put out the A7S III. Well, last year. Wait, was it last year? Yeah, last year they put out the A7S III. And of course, everyone immediately was like, oh my god, this thing is so powerful, because it could shoot in RAW, but it also did... Now I can't remember. I think it was 14-bit RAW, and maybe it was 10 or 12-bit direct. Something like that. Anyway, yeah, the thing is, while people disagree on exactly how high you need to go on bitrate, what everyone can agree with is 8 is not enough, but 10 is usually good. So this is why everyone will... anyone who's at all concerned with video but doesn't want to spend the huge amount on an A7S III, they're all going to want to upgrade to this camera, because this solves the single biggest complaint everyone has about the A7S, or the A7 III. Let's see. It's weird that they call out a full-time Bluetooth LE connection. LE low energy. Okay, so... Yep, okay, I was right. The chip in the A7 III, or the sensor in the A7 III is a 24 megapixel chip, or sensor. So, yep, that's what I have. They bumped it up to 33, which is nice. Not necessarily super necessary, but depending on what you're doing with it, it counts. Let's see. Okay, so it can only do 6 frames per second if you're going with non-lossy RAW. Not that that's usually necessary, but whatever. Alright, so silent shutter is going to have some jello effect. Big deal. No surprise. Alright, so they improved autofocus, which is almost hard to imagine, but awesome. Oh, hey, they did change this dial. What in the world? Is this like a 2-stage dial or something? Movie mode gets its own switch rather than being part of the exposure mode dial. A menu option in the setup lets you choose which settings are carried over and which are maintained separately for stills and video. That's pretty badass. Okay. I know it doesn't seem like it should be a thing, but everyone wishes that they could just, like, kind of just knock their cameras into video mode and then knock them into photo mode and not really have to dick between the two. This would be super awesome. I want this. Let's see. Supports live streaming, which basically means you can just hook it straight to a computer and use it as a webcam. HEIF 10-bit stills, that's pretty neat. HEIF, of course, being a format that not getting a ton of use yet everywhere, but Apple got super deep into using HEIF. And as a result, like, some Apple stuff supports it pretty well, but not a lot outside of that. If Sony's supporting it, that means this will be supported. If it isn't already, this will be natively supported in Photoshop like tomorrow. Photoshop or Adobe will not screw with their bread and butter companies, and Sony is 100% one of them. So I don't know if it's technically supported already. Maybe it is. Maybe I just missed when that happened, but yeah, this makes a big difference. Let's see. All right, nothing. Oh wait, just out of curiosity, size or weight? It is a 659. Okay, so it's just barely heavier than the Sony a7 III by 9 grams. And lighter than the other two cameras that they picked to compare against. Oof, but they raised the price. That's the burn. Okay. I take back some of what I said earlier. For a reason. Kind of. Okay, so the a7 IV is priced at $2,500. That's $500 more than the a7 III is supposed to be priced. Oh, giant fly. Where? Okay, I don't think I hit it. Damn it. That thing seriously is massive. It landed on my softbox, and I'm not kidding. That is like the size of my thumb. It's definitely a fly. I don't know that I've seen a fly that big. Yeah, MacBook Pro pricing for real. Anyway, yeah, so they're raising the price $500, and I mean, I kind of get why. This is a badass camera. Here's the catch. Sony a7S III. Okay, now I know. You're going to look at this and go, yeah, that's $1,000 more. Why on earth are you comparing these two? That's kind of why I'm comparing them, because as good as the a7 IV is, yeah, at 2,500, $1,000 completely warrants the jump to an A7S III if you're doing video. The A7S III is cinema camera quality. Like, it will not rival like the big cinema cameras, but it's close. It can do amazing quality. Like, YouTubers even now are basically singing the praises of how good the A7S III is, even against stuff that came out this year. It's still basically one of like 3 cameras everyone says are the must-have cameras. And then meanwhile you can step down, and yes, it's $1,000 cheaper. That is a lot of money. That is a significant jump, but I feel like if you're really trying to save money, at a certain point, well, if you're really trying to save money, yes, absolutely, you would go for this. Part of me also looks at this and goes, that's getting a little too close. And it's weird to say $1,000 is getting too close, but small part of me feels like this should not have crept that close. I could see them bumping it to maybe 2,100. 22 tops. They shouldn't have gone to 25. Not unless maybe there's some stuff in here that I'm not. Does this flip screen? Actually, it mentions an articulated screen. I'm curious. Oh, okay, side articulating screen. Okay, that's tempting too. If I had the money for it, and I would sell my A7 III in a heartbeat and get this. I will say that. I don't have the money for it, so that's not going to happen. But I do want this. This would be pretty sick. Yeah, and it's using the same batteries, which is good. Constant smartphone connection. Sony has offered Bluetooth on its cameras for many years, but has used it solely for transferring location data from smartphones. The A7 IV adds a constant connection option of the type offered by most of its rivals. This means you only have to pair the camera with your smartphone once, after which they will automatically reestablish a Bluetooth low energy connection, making it much quicker and simpler to transfer images to your phone. That's awesome. I wonder if I could get Sony to send me one of these to review. I wouldn't get to keep it, I know that, but I wonder if I could get that to happen. That would be really interesting. I want Sony to send me stuff. That's really the message right now. Dear Sony, please send me your new Xperia Pro I. Dear Sony, please send me your A7 IV. I'd like to review these. Dear Sony, please send me a PS5. Not saying anything about a review, just, send one. Perks of working for Valnet. Yeah, I don't think that carries a whole lot of weight with them. Though, I was actually kicking around the idea that I might see about doing some reviews for Make Use Of. Because I was looking at Make Use Of's review list earlier and just seeing what kind of things they reviewed. And as I started looking through, it's like, okay, we've headphones, backlight kit, those are the kinds of things that a game steering wheel, these are things that I could see AP reviewing. Let's see, a projector, Like, so far we're still on AP reviews. Batteries. Dear God, we've reviewed a lot of those. An e-scooter, it's a little off of AP's beaten path. Not completely out of the question. E-bike, earbuds. You know, you get through a few of these things, and it's all stuff that kind of maybe could be still reviewed. But then I started getting into a electronic ukulele for learning. I don't think AP is going to review that. Let's see. Where's the stuff? When I look through this list, I remember seeing one specific item that triggered the there is no way AP would ever review this. Oh, well, okay, this isn't it, but a laser engraver. I mean, AP would not review that. Carson. Screen Rant does tech news too. Go away, Carson. Stop being evil. But, oh, yeah, okay, I must have scrolled down really fast and gotten down here. Okay, yeah, here's where we start getting into this stuff. The Hollyland Lark 150 review. This is... It is basically a competitor to this. These are wireless mics. So, basically, this is from Rode. Tiny little module here. You stick this, you basically attach this to the top of a camera. And this is the wireless receiver. Plug that into the camera, and then over on your Talent or yourself or whatever, I just attached the little tiny wind muff to the front of this. This is the microphone. You literally just take this, turn it on, clip it to your shirt, you're good to go. That's exactly what that is. Notably, this also has... Wait, does this not? Am I crazy? Okay, it does. This also has a... Well, you're not... Will you be able to see it? Oh yeah, you'll be able to see it. Right there, there's a mic input jack. So you can also attach a lav mic to this and just wear this like on a belt or something like that and run the lav mic up your shirt. So yeah, this is... It's a wireless mic system. AP is never going to review that. I'm actually working on another project that would justify AP posting about it, but it wouldn't be a review. So really neat thing. YouTubers love the absolute hell out of the Rode Wireless Go system. So here's something that's... Here's a competitor, which actually this same guy, I looked, he also reviewed the Rode system. Yeah, that kind of stuff. I don't know if he paid for it. I don't know if they got the company to send out review units or what. No telling. But yeah, they review stuff that AP would not review. So I'm really tempted to at least contact them and be like, hey, it's not going to be super frequent, but what would you think about me doing a few random reviews for the mother site, in so much as this is? Because it would open up the door to possibly reviewing a lot of stuff that I want to play with. And if I can get the companies to send review units, that would be fun. Yeah, so anyway. Oh, man, for a second I saw this I was still scrolling through pictures. I saw this one. And just at first glance, I saw this and thought, did somebody review a belt? If someone reviewed a belt, I'm gonna groan and roll my eyes. No, it's just a gaming headset. They just picked the exact spot on the gaming headset that looks like a belt. Let's see. Carson, hey, it's video related. You're reviewing a Sony camera. Well, the thing is, I that whole bit about being able to use the smartphone connected to the camera, that's kind of the in that I'd like to use. I don't know if Sony would go for it, but I'm tempted to try. Because, I mean, it would just be so stupid, and I could do a review on AP that is honestly just kind of stupid and playing with it and being funny about it. It's just a fault of Valnet's hero image aspect ratio. I mean, that's the funny thing. We were told 1.85 to 1 was the aspect ratio. This isn't even close to that. This is like 16 by 9. It's definitely not 1.85 to 1. So, I don't know. Who knows? They're doing such weird stuff. But yeah, I guess, yeah, okay, I guess that would actually explain. It does kind of crop the side. So if they uploaded this in 1.85 to 1, you would have had more of the left side. But just to look at this. Wait a second. Oh no, okay. It's just because my mouse was over it that it screwed with the color. You know, I'm still not sure I would have recognized that was a headphone. Or a headset just from that photo. It still looks like a belt. Sometimes you forget to read articles in the black box on AP. Carson, you read AP? And I know that sounds like I'm joking. Actually not. It's like it does the opposite of highlighting the important articles. You know, it varies. Like, I'm okay with the reviews. The 2 reviews right here, those absolutely belong there. They should be highlighted. They're the most important things to put up. Oof. I mean, accurate. I mean, I've heard this plenty, so I agree with it. I think it's funny that we just covered it outright saying, yeah, don't buy it. Or, well, don't buy into the estimate. Yeah, anyway, let's see. Adobe Photoshop and Illustrator coming to web and big Chromebook. Whatever. Or with big Chromebook release. Oh, big Chromebook implications. Okay. Yeah, that deserves to be up here. Samsung Galaxy Watch 4 Classic Review. Wear OS 3 is wearing nicely. I mean, it's only barely Wear OS 3, but whatever. Yeah, that makes sense putting it up there. Top 6 settings to change on your new Pixel 6 or Pixel 6 Pro. That doesn't feel like it belongs up in the featured. I will grant that. That just feels out of place there. Google opens the door for devs to start making their own material apps. Latest Play Store policy changes could bring new emoji to your favorite apps. Interesting, I guess. Oh, yeah. For anyone who hasn't seen this, this is actually cool. Somebody attached a Pixel 6 to a FPV drone, flew it around, and the video out of the Pixel 6 is better than the video that would come out of any other camera that people are putting on drones, at least so far. Not that I'm an FPV pilot, so this doesn't really help, but that was one of the things during my call with DJI talking about the Action 2. The first thing I asked when I saw this was a straight up question of, did DJI design this specifically with the intention that you would be able to attach this to a drone? And the guy I was talking to, he didn't have he didn't have a specific answer. He couldn't just come right in and say yes or no, because he obviously wasn't there for the design process. But his immediate response was, yeah, and we have another set of slides that for a presentation that we aren't doing. And yeah, straight up, it has a picture of this attached to a drone. So yeah, I kind of want to see what this is going to look like when footage comes out of here for drones, but sadly I won't be the one who's making that footage happen. Not until I learn how to fly an FPV. David, looking at make use of the articles they write are almost pointless. Wonder if it pays well. I don't know how well it pays. I've heard a few things here and there, but I don't know how necessarily what the pay is like. I can say that some of what they write, yeah, I'm not in love with some of their stuff, but they do tend to go with stuff that would be possibly useful or interesting in the long term. They're more of an evergreen focused site, whereas AP is more news oriented. So yeah, there's a little bit of both factors to be considered there. Yeah, anyway, would have been cool if it was recorded with cinematic stabilization. Maybe. I'm not sure cinematic stabilization would really look right on a drone though. Because the movement in a drone is going to be very quick and, well, that's it. The movement in a drone is going to be very quick. I mean, we can pop open, yeah, we'll pop open the video real quick. All right. So here's what it looks like. Oh, would help if I actually said it correctly. And I'll link there in the chat to the video. The thing is, there's still a lot of those lens flares. I guess this is moving smoother than I thought it would. He's not like really pumping hard. Does he go a little harder later in this video? Yeah, because if this is as fast as he's going, he actually probably could have kicked this into cinematic stabilization and it would be fine. But yeah, my feeling is if you've got a pilot who can actually like really haul, which, okay, maybe with the Pixel 6 you might not actually have that option, because your wind resistance with a big flat object strapped to the top of your drone, like, that's probably not going to play well. I paused the video, but yeah, if that's the case, you might not have that kind of an option. Oh man. Okay, after I'm done, everyone go watch that video. This video only has, popping back, this video only has under 9,000 views. What the hell? This dude deserves way more views than that. Because it's just so bizarre and it makes so much sense, and the video's been up for a day. Like, it should have had more than 9,000 views by now. Uh, he's flying in a grassy park-looking area. Did he do maybe a couple of them? Nope. Maybe it's somebody else. Unless there's... Yeah, no. Okay. Oh, he's doing a live stream right now about the action too. Might watch that later because one way or another, like even if I can't test it, I want to talk about it in the review. Oh, he posted to Twitter. That makes sense. Let's go look at Twitter. Oh, yeah, okay. You're right. Okay, I think this is this. Yeah, this is the same location. Oh wait, no, it isn't. My bad. Okay, it doesn't have the same tree layout, though. I think this looks close. This could be in the same general, or this could be in the same park. He just went to a different location. Because it also looks like the maintenance is about the same. Which is to say that it doesn't look like they mowed it down too much. Anyway, yeah, that's definitely badass. This guy had the right idea. So yeah, I'm impressed. I want to see that. And it would be interesting to see what cinematic mode would do. I'm not sure necessarily that it would look good, like I said, with a fast moving drone, but if you're keeping it relatively smooth, I think it would look good. Fast moving, forget it. Like I don't know what would happen with cinematic smoothing, or cinematic stabilization, but yeah, it would be interesting. I don't know. All right. Anyway, I think at this point, I probably should cut out. That way I can go hunt horseflies. Why the hell is that guy in the house? I want to know. But, yes, thank you guys for coming out, joining me for the conversation, being part of the conversation, letting me rant and ramble and say all kinds of smart things. I don't know. You be the judge. Were they smart? Were they stupid? Was it just everything in between? Was it all you hoped for? I don't know. I'm being goofy. But yes, again, this weekend, fair warning, probably no streams, or if there are, it's gonna be real limited. It might be a photo stream, but I wouldn't count on it. I need to just get out and do a ton of review work. And I'm going to have like nothing getting done before that because I have other huge time-consuming projects that I need to focus on that are going to eat up tomorrow and Friday. So, yeah. huge gotta rush through stuff over the next few days. So, yeah, probably no streams, but naturally we'll be back next week. Who knows what will be available to talk about next week that, I mean, no telling what companies I might have to talk about, what review units I may have to poke at. I don't know. Google it. It's obvious. Anyway. Let's see. Hopefully I will also have... Actually, I'm going to have a few things to talk about next week. Oh wait, no, that I can't talk about that one yet. Never mind. Okay, I'll have one thing to talk about next week. Yeah, had to think about that. All right. Anyway, as usual, if you'd like to contribute anything to the show to make the PayPal gods happy, links are down in the description for Patreon and Streamlabs. Let's see, and yeah, okay, this time for real, I'm done. So with that, good night, everybody.